Chapter 230. Tang Ao had been here in the beginning, but he quickly left when he saw that it was empty. It was only after he had wandered most of the 21st heaven that he remembered the phenomenon. After sitting down cross-legged, Tang Ao found something unusual about this place. Under Tang Ao's calmness and concentration, he sensed that there was indeed a special life soul in this space. As his incomplete body was constantly repaired by the special life soul in the surrounding space, Tang Ao had a deeper understanding of the life soul. When Tang Ao broke the world, the arm that had been shattered by the rules of the 21st heaven gradually grew out. Following that, Tang Ao's incomplete left leg gradually condensed and soon recovered to its original state. The wounds on Tang Ao's body gradually healed. Soon, Tang Ao looked no different from when he first came to the colossal world. At that moment, Tang Ao was completely certain that the thing that lingered around his body was the target of his trip, the only jade-bone flesh life soul in the 21st heaven. The reason why it was said to be the only one meant that as long as Tang Ao did not die, a second jade-bone flesh life soul would not be born in the colossal world. After Tang Ao's body completely recovered, countless light green dots surged into Tang Ao's body. When Tang Ao's body could no longer contain these light dots, these fine light green fluorescent dots were still gathering towards Tang Ao. As these light green dots continued to gather, a light green armor gradually appeared on the surface of Tang Ao's body. Seeing this scene, Tang Ao was extremely shocked, and at the same time, he was thinking about the reason for this phenomenon. As Tang Ao was thinking, a large amount of information surged from the jade-bone flesh life soul into Tang Ao's mind. After receiving this shocking news, Tang Ao was speechless for a long time. This was because the jade-bone flesh life soul had been crushed by the rules of the Kiliacosm families. The jade-bone flesh life soul originally belonged to the 21st heaven life soul. Its origin was also at the 21st heaven. However, for some unknown reason, its grade continued to grow, and it actually broke through to the 21st grade. It was originally at the 21st firmament, but it had surpassed the grade of a 21st firmament life soul. Therefore, in a sense, the Jade Bone's flesh life soul had already surpassed the rules of the boundless universe on a certain level, becoming an extremely special existence. Inspired by this, Tang Ao thought to himself, is there any way for my other life souls to advance like the flesh-growing Jade life soul? This was because the Jade-bone flesh life soul was not allowed to exist in the 21st firmament. However, after Tang Ao absorbed the Jade-bone flesh life soul into his body, it immediately became extremely normal. However, its strength was far beyond what a 21st firmament life soul should have. As long as he grasped the secret, it was very likely that he could constantly strengthen the life soul in his body. If this method was feasible, then his achievements in this life might reach an unimaginable height. Just as Tang Ao was thinking about this, the hexagram mirror hanging around his neck suddenly lit up. A technique called Heaven's Evolution Record instantly appeared in Tang Ao's mind. After scanning through the technique given by the hexagram mirror in his mind, Tang Ao was greatly shocked. This so-called Heaven's Evolution Record was actually a technique that described the way to advance one's life soul. Chapter 231. With the protection of this layer of crystal armor, he might be able to possess a powerful life soul that was above the 21st layer of the boundless world when he was in the origin martial realm. Although the low-level life souls that he had previously awakened could eventually advance into high-level life souls according to the Heaven's Evolution Record, who would complain about having too many high-level life souls? Anyway, Tang Ao would not complain about having too many high-level life souls, so Tang Ao did not hesitate to step into the boundary transformation gate between the 21st and 22nd layer of heaven. Under a terrifying pressure, Tang Ao arrived at the 22nd layer of heaven. But at this time, the crystal armor on the surface of Tang Ao's body only had some slight cracks, and Tang Ao himself did not suffer much damage. This layer of crystal armor was an opportunity that he could not replicate. In his previous life, his cultivation had reached such a high level, but he still had not encountered the phenomenon of a life soul advancing. The layer of crystal armor on his body was the good fortune that the jade bone flesh life soul had evolved for tens of thousands of years. Therefore, he had to seize this opportunity and find an incomparably powerful life soul. Tang Ao's body was like a green flash of light, shuttling through the 22nd layer of heaven. In the face of this rare opportunity, Tang Ao naturally would not stop at the 22nd layer of heaven. Not long later, Tang Ao arrived at the boundary transformation gate of the 22nd layer of heaven, and the crystal armor on his body had shattered quite a bit, but his body still did not suffer much damage. Looking at the damage of the layer of crystal armor on his body, Tang Ao estimated that this layer of crystal armor could at most protect him to the 23rd layer of heaven. The most likely situation was that after this layer of crystal armor protected him to the 23rd layer of heaven, he would immediately be crushed by the laws of heaven and earth in the 23rd layer of heaven. Therefore, he had to quickly enter, find a suitable life soul, and then quickly refine it, and then quickly return his soul to his body. He used the word quickly 3 times, and the matter was indeed as urgent as he thought. Hardening his heart, Tang Ao instantly stepped into the 23rd layer of heaven. Tang Ao immediately regretted stepping into the 23rd heaven. He should have found a suitable life soul in the 22nd heaven instead of greedily coming to the 23rd heaven. This was because the moment Tang Ao stepped into the 23rd firmament, he would not be able to choose a life soul and refine it. As soon as he stepped into the 23rd heaven, the crystal armor on his body instantly shattered. However, Tang Ao knew that this wasn't because of the crystal armor. It was because he was too weak. Because he was too weak, the crystal armor on his body couldn't unleash its full power. After the crystal armor shattered, Tang Ao's body instantly shattered. Starting from his legs, Tang Ao's soul body turned into countless light shards and slowly disappeared. Even though the newly awakened jade bone flesh life soul was constantly fighting against the laws of heaven and earth that were suppressing Tang Ao, it was constantly repairing Tang Ao's broken body. Chapter 232. In Ouyang Duan's room, as Ouyang Duan and Kasahara Shui had yet to reach an agreement, snowflakes were already floating around Kasahara Shui. Snow began to fall around Kasahara Yuki. Even though she was not a match for Ouyang Duan, it was clearly impossible for Ouyang Duan to control her without making a sound. Ouyang Duan sneered. He looked at Kasahara Shui, who was surrounded by snowflakes, and his heart was filled with anger and desire. Since Kasahara Shui sent herself to him in the middle of the night, then she shouldn't blame him for being impolite. Even if Kasahara Shui revealed this matter, Ouyang Duan would not be afraid. He was the successor of the Ouyang clan of the primordial era, and Kasahara Shui was only a normal inner sect disciple of the 7 Kill school with decent talent. With this relationship, as long as he didn't offend people he shouldn't offend, no matter what he did in the 7 Kill school. As long as he didn't go too far, the elders and sect leader would naturally close one eye. Disciples at their age were all hot-blooded. Even if he really did something to Kasahara Shui, nothing would happen. From what Ouyang Duan could see, this kind of thing was within the scope of the school's tacit approval. Thinking to there, Ouyang Duan took out a skull glowing with black-purple light from his storage ring. Seeing the skull glowing with black-purple light in Ouyang Duan's hand, Kasahara Shui was shocked. Before the last Dragon and Phoenix rankings, she, Dongxian Yi, and Ouyang Duan had gone on a sect mission together, and Ouyang Duan had used that strange skull that glowed with a dark purple light to knock out a spiritual ocean realm martial artist. That skull could even knock out a spirit sea realm warrior, let alone a warrior of the 9th level of the origin realm like her. If she was hit by Ouyang Duan's skull, she would instantly lose consciousness. Seeing the strange skull glowing with black-purple light, Kasahara Shwe was flustered. Asking Ouyang Duan to do something for her was like sending a sheep into a tiger's mouth. The 7 Kills School seemed to be fair and just, but some people with high status still had some special privileges in the 7 Kills School. As long as they didn't go too far, those people could do things that other disciples could not do in the 7 Kills School. Ouyang Duan was obviously one of the few disciples with special privileges. Ouyang Duan was the successor of the Ouyang clan of the primordial era, and she was only a talented inner sect disciple of the 7 Kills School. Even if Ouyang Duan had taken advantage of him today, as long as he didn't cause any negative effects, he wouldn't care. The elders in the sect would definitely turn a blind eye to this matter and muddle through it. In the end, it would be left unsettled. Kasahara Yuanshua felt a little regretful. She had been too impatient for the Netherworld Emperor's mystic realm. Now, she was like a lamb in a tiger's den. Even though Kasahara Yuki did not cherish her beautiful body, she did not wish to see it destroyed in the hands of a treacherous villain like Ouyang Duan. Because of this, Kasahara Yuki was secretly planning how she could escape when the skull in Ouyang Duan's hand hit her. How could Ouyang Duan not understand Kasahara Yuki's thoughts? Although the soul-suppressing bone in his hand was useful, its activation speed was extremely slow. If he were to attack Yuanshua face-to-face, there was no way he would be able to hit her. Furthermore, with Kasahara Yuzuru's intelligence, she would definitely be able to see the flaws in the soul-suppressing bone. Chapter 233. As Ouyang Duan was calculating, a terrifying ray of light pierced through the clouds and landed in the resting area of the 7 Kills sect's inner sect disciples. Sensing the strength of the streak of light, Ouyang Duan's expression turned cold. This was a streak of light that originated from the 21st layer of heaven. This meant that there was someone among the 7 Kills sect's inner sect disciples who had awakened the 21st layer of heaven's fate spirit. There were many talented disciples in the 7 Kills sect, but Ouyang Duan knew that the only one with such talent was his nemesis, Dong Xianyi. Ouyang Duan's expression darkened when he thought that Dong Xianyi might have awakened a 21st Heaven Night Pearl. It was so heavy that it seemed like water could be squeezed out of it. A good chance. Seeing that Ouyang Duan was distracted, Kasahara Shwe jumped out of the window without hesitation. However, the moment she left the ground, the soul-suppressing bone, which was glowing with a dark purple light, landed on her lower body. After being hit by the soul-suppressing bone, Kasahara Shwe's consciousness started to imitate it. She took out her hairpin and stabbed it into her smooth abdomen. The intense pain instantly woke Kasumi up. Her senses were extremely sharp, and she could tell that the light had landed not too far away from here. Kasahara Yuzuru unleashed all of her spiritual power, causing snowflakes to appear out of thin air. Then, she dragged her drowsy body towards the place where the streak of light had fallen from the sky. Ouyang Duan had mistakenly thought that the ray of light was Dong Xianye's, but Kasahara Shwe knew that it wasn't Dong Xianyi who had awakened a 21st Heaven soul. This was because the ray of light had not landed in Dong Xianye's resting room. At the same time, Kasahara Shwe was extremely curious about this person who had awakened a 21st Heaven soul. Among the inner sect disciples, there shouldn't be anyone as monstrous as Dong Xianyi. Although it was rumored that Fang Xiuling had also awakened a 21st Heaven spiritual light Thousand Leaves Willow, Fang Xiuling had hinted that he had used some tricks to awaken the spiritual light Thousand Leaves Willow. Outside Ouyang Duan's room, Ouyang Duan stood on the empty ground and chased after Kasahara Shwe. Although he didn't know how Kasahara Shwe had managed to escape after being hit by the soul-suppressing bone, Ouyang Duan was sure that she couldn't have gotten far. Another thing that puzzled Ouyang Duan was that Kasahara Yuki did not run towards the male disciple's resting area. Instead, she ran towards the other side of the resting area. Today, he had even used the soul-suppressing bone. Oyang Duan would not rest until he got his hands on Kasahara Yuki. Hence, despite his doubts, Oyang Duan did not stop his pursuit. Sensing that her consciousness was becoming more and more blurry and that Oyang Duan was closing in on her, Kasahara Yuki used her hairpin to prick her left and right shoulders twice. Then, he stabbed himself 3 times in the abdomen. As time passed, the effects of the soul-suppressing bone grew stronger and stronger, and Kasahara Yuzura's consciousness became more and more blurry. Furthermore, Kasahara Suki was not sure if the genius disciple who had awakened to the 21st heavenly layer would offend Oyang Duan in order to save her. In Kasahara's opinion, there shouldn't be such a person in this world. She would be able to reach the residence of the genius disciple in 10 breaths' time. Sensing that her consciousness was slowly slipping away, Kasahara Yuki gritted her teeth and slit her wrist. A stream of bright red-hot blood flowed out, forming a sharp contrast with the pure white snowflakes around him. After cutting her wrist, Kasahara Yuki stabbed the hairpin into her left shoulder. Chapter 234. Bang! Kasahara Yuki, dressed in a white dress, fell in front of Tang Ao's door. Hearing the noise outside the door, Tang Ao was stunned. Who was making such a big noise in the middle of the night? Then, Tang Ao got up and opened the door. The moment he opened the door, a snowflake mixed with a special fragrance instantly rushed into Tang Ao's room. Tang Ao also saw Kasahara Yuki lying on the ground outside his room. Kasahara Yuki's appearance was not inferior to Luotsai's. Some people who liked cold beauties were even more infatuated with Kasahara Yuki than Luotsai. For such a beauty, Tang Ao naturally had a very deep impression of her. However, when Tang Ao saw Kasahara Yuki covered in blood, he was stunned. Who was the one who did this? How could such a weak girl be injured like this? Facing such a beauty, how could he have the heart to be so ruthless if it wasn't a life-and-death feud? When Tang Ao opened the door, Kasahara Yuki's consciousness was almost completely gone. Kasahara Yuki saw that the person who walked out of the room was Tang Ao, and Tang Ao was staring at her blankly. Kasahara Yuki was in despair. With the last of her strength, she pulled out the hairpin that was nailed into her left shoulder. Then, she ruthlessly slashed at her own delicate face. From her point of view, even if Tang Ao was willing to help her, after Oyang Duan explained the matter of her request to Oyang Duan, he did not even need to think to know that Tang Ao would definitely not become enemies with Oyang Duan just to help him. It didn't matter that Tang Ao was a genius who had awakened the 21st heavenly fate soul. However, Kasahara Yuki did not believe that Tang Ao would have the courage to go against Oyang Duan, who was ranked second on the Dragon and Phoenix leaderboards. When Tang Ao saw that the hairpin was about to cut Kasumi's face, he immediately reached out and grabbed Kasumi's wrist. Looking at the helpless and pitiful Kasahara Yuki, Tang Ao felt as if he was looking at Chinueru, who had had a difficult life. Tang Ao noticed that Kasahara Yuki's eyes were filled with bitterness. Even in his 2 lives, Tang Ao had never seen such bitterness. Tang Ao did not know what had happened to Kasahara Yuki, but there was one thing that Tang Ao was sure of. This beautiful woman was a pitiful but strong person. Now that you're here, you're safe. Tang Ao picked Kasahara Yuki up and smiled at her. As he got closer, Tang Ao could see the bitterness in Kasahara Yuki's eyes, which were also filled with confusion and despair. If such a person did not have enough courage and determination, he would definitely not be able to survive. At this moment, Kasahara Yuki's white dress was dyed red with fresh blood. The blood stained Kasahara Yuki's white dress like bright red plum blossoms, but it was different from the pure and elegant plum blossoms. Kasahara Yuki's blood had dyed the plum blossoms, making them appear both demonic and poignant. At this moment, Oyang Duan also rushed over. Seeing Kasahara Yuki in Tang Ao's arms, Oyang Duan was stunned. "It's you. It's me. Put junior sister Kasahara Yuki down." Impossible. Is that your answer? Not really. As Tang Ao finished speaking, the seven-colored light of the seven-kill slaughter art tore through the air, pressing towards Ouyang Duan. Just as Kasahara Yuki fell, Ouyang Duan rushed over. Although he did not understand what had happened between Kasahara Yuki and Ouyang Duan. But between fellow disciples, no matter what happened, Ouyang Duan would not dare to do such a thing. This was what Tang Ao thought, so his seven-kill slaughter art was even more powerful than before. If not for this seven-kill slaughter art which was even more powerful than before, Tang Ao naturally would not have been able to block the morning soul nails that flew towards him in an instant. Chapter 235. Thus, the moment he decided to help Kasahara Snow, Tang Ao activated the seven-kill art in his body. Kasahara Snow was extremely sensitive to all kinds of spiritual energy ripples in the surroundings. Thus, when she saw Tang Ao immediately activate the seven-kill art after Tang Ao picked her up, Kasahara Snow was a little confused at first. But now that she saw Tang Ao arrive first and defeat Ouyang Duan's Morning Soul Spike in one move, she finally understood. Not only was Tang Ao talented in martial arts, even his temperament was incomparable. Currently, Kasahara Snow's consciousness was completely cut off from her body. Although she could feel the pain in her body and the heat in Tang Ao's arms, she could not control her body anymore. This was the effect of the soul-suppressing bone. This was the effect of the soul-suppressing bone, as well as its power. It allowed people to clearly accept the reality of their own death. Not only could they clearly feel the pain in their body, they could even witness their own death with their own eyes. Thus, when that spiritual Sea Realm warrior was hit by the soul-suppressing bone, he instantly ended his own life without a second thought. After Ouyang Duan's attack failed and he lost a morning soul spike, his heart was filled with hatred. But not long ago, someone in the inner sect had awakened a 21-level fate spirit, which definitely attracted the attention of the elders of the seven-kill sect. It was unwise for him to fight with Tang Ao here. Even if he wanted to kill this brat, he would have plenty of chances to do so in the finals of the Dragon and Phoenix rankings tomorrow. Thinking of this, Ouyang Duan laughed coldly. Tang Ao, you have to take good care of junior sister Kasahara Snow tonight. She is so heavily injured, if she dies in your room, you will not be able to escape responsibility. Junior brother Tang, why don't you hand her over to me? I come from the Ouyang clan, so I have a good understanding of medicine. Hearing Ouyang Duan's words, Kasahara Snow was shocked. She had been struck by the soul-suppressing bone and had lost all signs of life. It was as if she was dead. Tang Ao was not even afraid to face Ouyang Duan. If he did not know that the soul-suppressing bone had fallen into Ouyang Duan's trap and handed her over to Ouyang Duan, then she would really be in danger today. Not only that, Ouyang Duan had even purposely protected his own clan in order to force Tang Ao to submit. At this moment, Kasahara Yuki really did not know what her fate would be like. Kasahara Yuki began to regret her actions. She shouldn't have scratched her pretty face earlier. This way, even if she ended up being tainted by Ouyang Duan, she could at least disgust him a little. I don't know what happened between you and Kasahara Yuki, but I won't hand her over to you. It's best if nothing happens to her. If anything happens to her, I won't let you off. Hearing Tang Ao's threatening words, Ouyang Duan's heart leaped with joy. Just now, he had thought that his cultivation was high, so he decided to use brute force to solve the problem. He had actually forgotten why Kasahara Yuki was looking for him. When Kasahara Yuki heard Tang Ao's words, her heart was filled with warmth and guilt at the same time. Not too long ago, she was still thinking about how to get either Tang Ao or Fang Xiuling eliminated from the competition. Who would have thought that Tang Ao would save her? Kasahara Yuki could already imagine the scene where Ouyang Duan told Tang Ao the truth, and Tang Ao would throw her out in a fit of rage. But if Tang Ao really did that, Kasahara Yuki would not blame Tang Ao at all. This was because she had already witnessed Tang Ao's fearless attitude when facing Ouyang Duan. She was not related to Tang Ao at all, but Tang Ao was still willing to go to such lengths for her. Kasahara Yuki's heart was already filled with warmth. Even the layers of ice in her heart seemed to have been melted by this warmth. Chapter 236. After Ouyang Duan said those words, he was very proud in his heart. It was as if he could already see the scene of Tang Ao throwing Kasahara Snow to the ground in rage. As long as it was a normal person, after knowing about this, there would be no one who wouldn't be angry. If it was Ouyang Duan himself, if he encountered such a thing, he would have already killed Kasahara Snow on the spot. After Tang Ao heard that, his hand moved. Kasahara Snow's heart trembled, but she quickly recovered. She only had herself to blame and no one else. When Ouyang Duan saw Tang Ao's action, the smile in his eyes became even deeper. But very quickly, Ouyang Duan's smile turned into monstrous rage. Because Tang Ao's hand moved and he hugged Kasahara Snow even tighter. Kasahara Snow had lost too much blood and her body was already a bit cold. Tang Ao wanted to use his own body temperature to ensure that Kasahara Snow's body wouldn't suffer any more serious damage. Kasahara Snow's consciousness felt the warmth on her body. Even though she couldn't control her body at that moment, 2 drops of tears flowed down from the corner of her eyes. "Senior Ouyang, if there's nothing else, please return. I won't send you off." After speaking, Tang Ao didn't care about Ouyang Duan anymore. He carried Kasahara Snow and walked towards his own room. Kasahara Snow had lost too much blood. If she wasn't treated, even an Origin Realm cultivator's life would be in danger when she lost consciousness. Ouyang Duan looked at Tang Ao with an ashen face. He secretly decided in his heart that on the arena tomorrow, he would definitely kill Tang Ao with lightning speed. As for Kasahara Snow, after entering the Netherworld Emperor's secret realm, he would make her regret rejecting his good intentions today. Ouyang Duan was not worried about Kasahara Snow's safety. From what he saw, Kasahara Snow was only smashed by his soul-suppressing bone and her soul was scattered. There weren't any life-threatening injuries. As for the bloodstains on Kasahara Snow's body, Ouyang Duan didn't pay too much attention. From what he saw, no matter how much trash Tang Ao was, he should be able to do something as simple as stopping the bleeding. In Kasahara Yuki's consciousness, she could clearly feel Tang Ao carrying her into his room. After Ouyang Duan left, Kasahara Yuki heaved a sigh of relief in her heart. Although she did not know how Tang Ao would treat her, it would at least be better than falling into Ouyang Duan's hands, right? However, as soon as Kasahara Yuki calmed down and felt the injuries on her body, she instantly became anxious. Kasahara Yuki had been so focused on escaping that she had continuously inflicted injuries on herself to keep herself awake. Now that she was fully conscious, she realized that she had caused such serious injuries to herself in her panic. His left wrist was cut open by the hairpin and blood kept flowing. His lower abdomen was also pricked 7 or 8 times by his own hairpin. His left and right shoulders were also pricked 3 times by the hairpin. The most serious one was when he was about to lose consciousness and accidentally nailed the hairpin half an inch above his heart. Chapter 237. With such a serious injury, her body would probably be completely exhausted before her soul could return to her body. It was not that she had never thought that she would one day walk towards death, but she had never imagined that she would end her life in such a manner. Looking at the injuries on Kasahara Yuki's body, Tang Ao was furious. He could not imagine how much Ouyang Duan had forced Kasahara Yuki to injure herself to such an extent. After a while, Tang Ao held Kasahara Yuki's right hand. Even though she knew that she was definitely going to die today, Kasahara Yuki still felt a little shy and curious when she saw Tang Ao holding her right hand. She did not know what would happen in the final moments of her life. Would she leave this family with warmth and happiness? After checking Kasahara Yuki's meridians, Tang Ao was slightly relieved. Even though Kasahara Yuki's injuries were serious, her meridians were not damaged. Tang Ao also saw the hairpin in Kasahara Yuki's right hand that was stained with fresh blood. After holding the hairpin in his hand, Tang Ao's majestic spiritual energy shook the sharp hairpin into dust. Kasahara Yuki looked at Tang Ao's actions strangely, not understanding why Tang Ao would do such a thing. What Tang Ao did next was even more confusing to Kasahara Yuki. She saw a sharp sword chi shoot out from Tang Ao's right hand and cut open a wound on her left palm. Hot blood immediately flowed out. Then, under Kasahara Yuki's shocked gaze, Tang Ao grabbed her bleeding left wrist with his bleeding palm. At this time, Tang Ao's body gradually emitted some warm green light, and Kasahara Yuki felt a warm current slowly flow into her body. Under the nourishment of this warm current, her internal injuries actually began to heal slowly. Kasahara Yuki was extremely shocked. She had cultivated for so long, but she had never seen such a technique. Looking at the light green light dots dancing and circling around Tang Ao's body, Kasahara Yuki was a little confused. She vaguely felt that it was a life soul, but she had never seen such a life soul before. She had never even heard of such a life soul. Kasahara Yuzuru's injuries were too severe, and Tang Ao had expended a lot of energy to force his way into the 23rd layer of heaven. He had even sustained some injuries. Therefore, even though Tang Ao had the Jade Bone Life Soul, it was still difficult for him to heal Kasahara Yuki's injuries. After healing Kasahara Yuki's injuries, Tang Ao was left with less than 30% of his spiritual power. His recently awakened Jade Bone Life Soul had also been greatly depleted. However, Tang Ao continued to heal Kasahara Yuki's internal injuries. Tang Ao would never give up halfway. Be a good person to the end and send the Buddha to the west. Moreover, Tang Ao and the proud Jade Bone Life Soul would not allow themselves to be unable to save Kasahara Yuki. Sensing Tang Ao's intention, the Jade Bone Life Soul suddenly burst out with a vibrant green light. At the same time, the spiritual power in Tang Ao's body began to burn. Kasahara Yuzuru's injuries were also healing at a speed visible to the naked eye. After a while, Kasahara Yuzuru's injuries would be completely healed. Tang Ao had also expended too much energy and collapsed on top of Kasahara Yuzuru. Kasahara Yuzuru's scattered soul looked at Tang Ao, who had collapsed on top of her, with a complicated expression on her face. Now, all she had to do was wait for 8 hours to pass, and the effects of the soul-suppressing bone would wear off. Then, she could go and settle the score with Ouyang Duan. Although she was currently not Ouyang Duan's match, she believed that with her unremitting efforts, she would one day be even stronger than Ouyang Duan. Chapter 238. In Tang Ao's room, the Jade Bone Life Soul slowly retreated back into Tang Ao's body after it had completely healed Tang Ao's injuries. Tang Ao's internal injuries were almost all caused by forcing his way into the 23rd heaven to refine his life soul. Furthermore, Tang Ao's injuries were not serious due to the protection of the light green crystal armor. However, in order to heal the dying Kasahara Yuki, Tang Ao had used up too much of his soul and spiritual energy. Hence, even after his injuries had healed, Tang Ao did not wake up very quickly. In less than 4 hours, Kasahara Yuki's soul had been drifting away, watching Tang Ao lying on top of her body. Kasahara Yuki's thoughts were in a mess. Tang Ao's actions had completely overturned everything she knew overnight. In her eyes, this was a sinful world where the strong preyed on the weak. The strong did whatever they wanted, while the weak struggled at death's door. Because her family was considered weak, they only cared about their own family. As a result, they were still innocently killed. However, she had nothing to do with Tang Ao, and they usually did not interact with each other. If not for the Dragon and Phoenix leaderboard arena, she would never have met Tang Ao in her life. However, if she really did not meet Tang Ao in her life, she would feel a little regretful. She did not know what Tang Ao was thinking when he was facing Ouyang Duan, but Tang Ao's neither servile nor overbearing attitude towards Ouyang Duan left a deep impression in her heart. 8 hours later, Tang Ao was still unconscious, but Kasahara Yuki had already regained consciousness. Tang Ao's entire body was now on top of her, and Kasahara Yuki could not help but blush. In these 8 hours, her understanding of the world had undergone an earth-shattering transformation. It could be said that the current her was no different from a normal young girl. All these changes happened subtly, and because everything was so normal, even Kasahara Yuki herself did not notice the changes in herself. Even though Kasahara Yuki had regained consciousness, the aftereffects of the soul-suppressing bone were still present. Her body was still limp, and she had no strength at all. Gazing at Tang Ao, who was on top of her, Kasahara Yuki tried to push Tang Ao away, but to no avail. The reason why Kasahara Yuki wanted to push Tang Ao was because Tang Ao was not well behaved in his sleep. If it wasn't for the fact that Kasahara Yuki knew that Tang Ao had truly exhausted his spiritual power, she would have thought that Tang Ao was deliberately taking advantage of her. Just as Kasahara Yuki was deep in thought, Tang Ao suddenly grabbed her hand. Kasahara Yuki moaned, and her pretty face looked as if it had a fever. Although she couldn't push Tang Ao away, Kasahara Yuki still managed to remove Tang Ao's claws from her body. Tang Ao had pinched her so hard that Kasahara Yuki even suspected that the spot where Tang Ao had pinched her was bruised. She did not know what this guy was doing, or if he was dreaming about something. An hour later, Kasahara Yuki finally regained her strength. She got up, took out a clean dress from her storage ring, and put it on. She then threw the blood-stained dress to the side. Under the healing of Tang Ao's jade bone life spirit, not a single scar was left on Kasahara Yuki's body. Chapter 239. At this moment, Tang Ao woke up in a daze and saw Kasahara Yuki putting on her clothes. Tang Ao couldn't help but be stunned. Kasahara Yuki raised her head and met Tang Ao's gaze. "Why are you still looking? Turn around," Kasahara Yuki said angrily. "Oh." Tang Ao hurriedly returned to his senses and turned around. Today was the last day of the finals of the Dragon and Phoenix rankings, and it was also the most exciting day. Today, the top 10 experts of the Dragon and Phoenix rankings would be determined, and the top 5 experts of the Dragon and Phoenix rankings would represent their sex to participate in the trial of the Emperor Ming Mystic Realm. When Tang Ao and Kasahara Yuki walked side by side towards the Dragon and Phoenix rankings arena, there was a wave of wails and howls. Scum! Not only did he take junior sister Luotsai, but he also took junior sister Kasahara Yuki. Kill him. I'll pay 5 copper coins. Who can help me kill him? Bastard, how could he do such a heinous thing? I don't want to live anymore. This family is too crazy. Amidst the commotion, Luotsai also saw Tang Ao and Kasahara Yuki, who was standing side by side with Tang Ao. Luotsai's expression immediately became complicated. The 3 brothers of the Fong family, who had been following Luotsai, also saw the change in her expression. Sister Tsai, this Tang Ao is really a scum. He already has Sister Tsai, but he still goes around flirting with other women, Fong Xiuling said indignantly. Fong Xiuwu's eyes lit up when he saw this. Junior Sister Tsai, although Tang Ao is quite capable, his character is really not that good. You should consider our Fong family. Second brother is right. Junior Sister Tsai, when you get together with Tang Ao in the future, you will inevitably have to worry about a few women fighting for the position of the legal wife. My family's ancestral teachings only allow one man to have one wife. Junior Sister Tsai, what do you think of me? As Fong Xiuwen spoke, he opened the folding fan in his hand and started fanning himself, giving off a dashing vibe. What nonsense are you talking about? I have nothing to do with Tang Ao. Luo Tsai hurriedly defended herself. However, as soon as Luo Tsai finished speaking, Tang Ao had already walked behind Luo Tsai. Tang Ao took Luo Tsai's hand and walked toward the dueling platform. Let go of me. It's not good to pull and pull like this. Luo Tsai struggled against Tang Ao's hand, but failed to break free. Don't lose today's match. After saying this, Tang Ao took the lead and walked into the arena. The first match of the day was between Tang Ao and Dong Xianyi. After Tang Ao walked onto the stage, Dong Xianye's figure also appeared on the stage with a flash. When they saw that the first match of the day was between Tang Ao and Dong Xianyi, the disciples who were watching the match immediately became excited. Senior brother Dong Xianyi, teach him a lesson. Beat him until all his teeth fall out. Senior brother Dong Xianyi, all the best. Don't let the enemy of the inner sect walk off the stage. Hearing the vicious curses from below the stage, Tang Ao was also speechless. Looking at Luo Tsai and Kasahara Yuki who were standing together below the stage, Tang Ao laughed at himself. Indeed, he could not bear the luck with women that he should not have at his age. Tang Ao, all the best. You can do it. I believe in you. Luo Tsai suddenly shouted when she saw Tang Ao looking at her. After hearing Luo Tsai's shout, Kasahara Yuki could not help but shout too, Tang Ao, all the best. I believe in you too. When the surrounding people heard the two great beauties of the 7 kills sect cheering for Tang Ao, Tang Ao's hatred was instantly filled to the brim. Senior brother Dong Xianyi, don't let him walk off the stage. Senior brother Dong Xianyi, make him unable to be a man. Chapter 240. In the arena, Dongswani and Tang Ao cupped their fists at each other. Please! Dongswani was a man of few words. He didn't seem to like talking, especially when he was about to fight. As such, his matches had always been clean and tidy, and he would never waste his breath on his opponent. Please! Dongswani wasn't willing to say more, and Tang Ao didn't think there was a need to. However, Tang Ao couldn't help but say, Senior brother Dongswani, I awakened a 21st heaven life soul last night. Please don't hold back later. After watching so many of Dongswani's matches, Tang Ao naturally knew that Dongswani hadn't used his full strength every time he attacked. Although Dongswani's attacks were clean and tidy, he had never caused any damage to his opponent. Dongswani would even forcefully stop his attacks at certain critical moments. This was an opponent worthy of respect. Dongswani was taken aback when he heard Tang Ao's words, but he nodded. Since Tang Ao could tell that he hadn't used his full strength in the previous battles and still dared to ask him to use his full strength under such circumstances, Tang Ao must have the confidence to make him use his full strength. 20 night orbs instantly lined up behind Dongswani. Although the 20 profound night beads were identical, each profound night bead could be considered a life soul, which meant, in an instant, Dongswani had already summoned the 20 night orbs. After the 20 night orbs were summoned, they slowly fused together under everyone's shocked gazes. Senior brother Dongswani, what move is that? The night orbs can be fused together? I heard that each of senior brother Dongswani's night orbs is a life soul. Doesn't that mean, that means senior brother Dongswani has fused all 20 life souls together? Oh my God, I can't believe it. Should I awaken the night orb life soul too? Forget it. Do you think it's that easy to awaken the night orb life soul? After the 20 night orbs fused into a black orb, it instantly split into 7. Behind Dong Xianyi floated 7 jet black weapons. Tang Ao naturally understood what Dong Xuanye was trying to do when he saw what he was doing. 7 life soul weapons. This was a sign that he was about to use the 7 kill sect's ultimate technique, the 7 kill massacre art. However, when he saw the 7 weapons on Dong Xuanye's back that corresponded to the 7 slaughter art, Tang Ao understood that Dong Xuanye had learned the 7 slaughter divine way just like him. After Dongxian Yi summoned the 7 life soul weapons, the 100 battle spear soul appeared behind Tang Ao. Then, the sun-shooting arrow soul shot an arrow, and the green lotus sword soul's green lotus sword soul flashed out, slowly turning into a 3 feet long sword. Soon after, the mad blood saber soul, 10,000 ghosts soul seeking soul, farewell soul reaping soul, and world-dominating axe soul also appeared behind Tang Ao. Upon seeing Tang Ao conjure 7 artifact life souls, the audience immediately exclaimed. After all, most disciples didn't know that Tang Ao had grasped the 7-kill slaughtering art. It's the 7-kill slaughtering art against the 7-kill slaughtering art. I didn't expect Tang Ao to have learned the 7-kill slaughtering art. This is going to be interesting. The 7-kill slaughtering art is the 7-kill sect's secret technique. I didn't expect Tang Ao to have learned it. This is going to be interesting. Senior brother Dongxian Yi has used the 7-kill slaughtering art to beat up countless genius warriors. Now, he's matched up against the 7-kill slaughtering art. Chapter 241. On the viewing platform a little further away from the Dragon and Phoenix rankings arena, the elders of the 7-kills sect looked at Tang Ao and Dongxian Yi in confusion. As elders of the 7-kills sect, they had naturally studied the 7-kill slaughtering art quite a bit. However, even though what Dongxian Yi and Tang Ao had executed seemed similar to the 7-kill slaughtering art, the terrifying might hidden within it was not just a little bit stronger than the 7-kill slaughtering art. Grand Elder Feng Ye looked at the two of them and nodded thoughtfully. Do you know how the 7-kills sect's 7-kill carnage skill came about? Feng Ye looked at the two people in the ring and asked the elders behind him. The elders sighed inwardly when they heard Feng Ye's question. Was there a need to ask? Who didn't know that the 7-kill carnage skill was created by you based on a cultivation method passed down from ancient times? From the elders' point of view, Feng Ye had mentioned it to show off in front of the juniors. Hence, they said tacitly, "We don't know. Please enlighten us, Uncle Master." I created the 7-kill carnage skill based on a cultivation method passed down from ancient times. That cultivation method is called the 7-kill holy way, and what those two kids are displaying right now isn't the 7-kill carnage skill that I created, but the original 7-kill holy way. After Feng Ye's explanation, the elders also understood why the 7-kill carnage skill that Tang Ao and Dongxian Yi were displaying was so different from the one they were familiar with. It turned out that Tang Ao and Dongxian Yi had not used Feng Ye's imitation cultivation method at all. Instead, they had displayed the original 7-kill holy way. Although they understood, the second elder was still a little confused. Senior Uncle Feng Ye, since the 7-kills sect has the complete 7-kills holy way, why don't we let our disciples cultivate the 7-kills holy way directly? Instead, we have to settle for the second best, the 7-kills slaughter art? Among the current 7 elders of the 7-kills sect, the second elder had the highest attainment in the 7-kills slaughter art. It was also because of this that he didn't understand why someone would create a cultivation method like the 7-slaughter divine way, which was several times more powerful than the 7-slaughter art. His 7-kill art of slaughter had already reached the great success stage, and he had relied on the 7-kill art of slaughter to survive countless life and death situations. Therefore, he had no doubts about the power of the 7-slaughter art. Haha, back then, my master had a total of 23 true disciples. Your master and I had the worst martial talent among all the disciples. In the end, because of the matter of cultivating the 7-slaughter divine Tao, only your master and I were left of the 23 brothers. The group of elders was shocked. They had never heard of these secrets of the 7-kills sect before. To think that something like this had happened to the 7-kills sect in the past. One must know that with Feng Ye presiding over the 7-kills sect alone, the surrounding sects and the 6 great clans of the primordial era would not dare to have any designs on the 7-kills sect. Back then, Feng Ye actually had 23 disciples. If a few of these 23 seniors were still alive, the Seven Kills sect would have probably become the #1 sect in the Black Tortoise continent. Uncle Master Feng Ye, then did you and our master successfully cultivate the Seven Slaughter Divine Tao? It's not that easy. In the Seven Kills sect, only your Grandmaster managed to cultivate the Seven Slaughter Divine Tao to the great success stage. And before your Grandmaster left, he warned us not to cultivate the Seven Slaughter Divine Tao. However, all the senior brothers were proud of their martial talent and did not listen to the Grandmaster's advice. In the end, they went berserk and passed away. Chapter 242. In the end, eldest senior brother followed in the footsteps of the other senior and junior brothers and died with a grudge. However, eldest senior brother also left behind valuable cultivation experience. Your master and I followed the cultivation experience left behind by your eldest senior uncle and finally reached lesser mastery of the Seven Kills Divine Path. The Seven Kills Divine Path has extremely high requirements for talent and temperament, and it's an unimaginable test for one's martial heart. The slightest bit of carelessness will cause you to lose yourself in the great power and eventually suffer chi deviation. In order to prevent this cultivation method from harming the disciples of the Seven Kills sect, I spent 300 years simplifying the Seven Kills Divine Path into the Seven Kills Carnage art and passed it down in the Seven Kills sect. The difficulty of cultivating the simplified Seven Kills Carnage art is less than 1/10 of the Seven Kills Divine Path, but only a few people have reached greater mastery over all these years. After Feng Ye finished speaking, all the elders had ashamed expressions on their faces. Because it was indeed as Feng Ye had said, amongst all of them, only the first elder and second elder had mastered the Seven Slaughter art. According to Uncle Master Feng Ye, since the Seven Kills Divine Path is so difficult to cultivate, what about these two disciples? The second elder looked at Tang Ao and Dongxian Yi in confusion. He simply couldn't understand how these two disciples had managed to cultivate the Seven Kills Divine Path. Feng Ye chuckled in relief. Although you haven't developed the Seven Kills sect much these years, you've done well in terms of grooming disciples. These two people's martial Dao talent and martial Dao hearts were quite good, as long as they were nurtured well. As long as they're nurtured well, they'll be experts that far surpass you and me in the future. On the Dragon and Phoenix rankings arena, Tang Ao and Dongxian Yi were naturally unaware of Feng Ye's evaluation of them. From Dongxian Yi's actions and the faint aura he exuded, Tang Ao knew that Dongxian Yi would be a difficult opponent. Dongxian Yi had the same thought. He had always liked to end battles quickly, but it seemed impossible this time. Suddenly, both of their auras fluctuated, and the two figures clashed fiercely with each other. Under the control of the Seven-Killing Divine Path, the 7 life souls clashed against each other non-stop. Terrifying spiritual energy fluctuations spread out from between the two of them, causing the flat, dueling platform to be riddled with holes. Tang Ao held the 100 battle spear soul in his hand, while Dongxian Yi held a shiny black saber and a sword. A string of sparks blossomed from the collision of the two weapons, and the arena was also covered in dazzling and colorful spiritual energy. Behind Tang Ao was a 7-colored stream of light, and Dongxian Yi was also a 7-colored stream of light. However, Dongxian Yi's 7-colored stream of light was mixed with some darkness, which was clearly the effect of the mysterious night pearl. With the recoil, Dongxuan leaped into the air. Palm of 7 Slaughter. In the air, Dongfang Xuanya roared, and the 7 rays of light behind him quickly entered his body. A terrifying spiritual energy gushed out from his palm and crushed towards Tang Ao, who was on the duel stage with an earth-shattering momentum. Palm of 7 Slaughter. The 7 rays of light behind Tang Ao also entered Tang Ao's body in an instant. Tang Ao also struck out with his palm, and a powerful force that seemed like it could tear space apart blasted towards Dongxian Yi in midair. Rumble! Rumble. Gotcha. Gotcha. Chapter 243. Is this the power of senior brother Dong Xuanye's full strength? I'm afraid that Tang Ao is already dead. Not even his ashes are left. It's too terrifying. Even the protective barrier strengthened by Attendant Wu can't withstand this turbulent flow of spiritual energy. It's better for us to retreat a little to avoid being injured by the turbulent flow of spiritual energy. That makes sense. It would be too unjust to be crushed to death by this turbulent flow of spiritual energy. After all the disciples had retreated, the protective barrier on the stage could no longer withstand the violent turbulent flow of spiritual energy. Bang! It exploded. Some of the disciples who were slightly closer were immediately sent flying by the force. On the viewing platform in the distance, the elders of 7 Kills sect clicked their tongues and were speechless for a long time. I didn't think that these two fellows would have already cultivated the 7 Kills divine way to the initial stage. Feng Ye said with relief. Although Tang Ao and Dong Xuanye's strength was still relatively weak, with their potential, they would definitely grow into experts that far surpassed him in the future. He could still protect the 7 Kills sect for over 100 years, which was enough time for Tang Ao and Dong Xuanye to grow. Uncle Master, you're just letting the two of them fight like this? Aren't you afraid that the two of them will die in the battle arena? Fifth Elder asked resentfully. It's fine. They're youngsters. If they don't decide who's stronger, they'll inevitably be unconvinced. It's good to let them temper themselves. As for their safety, Attendant Wu and Grand Elder are watching from the side, so there's no need to worry. When the dust on the battle arena dissipated, Tang Ao and Dong Xuanye stood on the battle arena in ragged clothes. The Dragon and Phoenix Rankings battle arena that had been used for God knows how many years was also riddled with holes from the two of them. It was a tragic sight. Dong Xuanye looked at Tang Ao and was inwardly shocked. He had already used 80% of his strength in this battle, but Tang Ao was actually on par with him. Not only that, but Tang Ao had also cultivated the 7 Kills divine way to the initial stage. At this point, there was no longer any need to continue fighting. If they were to continue fighting, the two of them would have to use their life-saving trump cards. This was just a spar between disciples of the same sect. There was really no need to carry it out to that extent. At this moment, he had yet to use the 21st Heaven's profound night pearl, and Tang Ao had yet to use the life soul he had awakened from the 21st Heaven. It seemed that Tang Ao's thoughts were more or less in line with his. Senior brother Dong Xuanye, how about a draw? All right. After saying that, Dong Xianyi left the stage and Tang Ao walked down as well. After walking to the resting area, Tang Ao felt a sweetness in his throat and spat out a mouthful of blood. In a secluded area, Dong Xuanyi also spat out a mouthful of blood. Although the two of them did not go all out, they still suffered some injuries. Luo Tsai and Kasahara Yuki came to Tang Ao's side at the same time and asked in unison, "Are you all right?" After that, the three of them looked at each other in dismay. For a moment, the situation was extremely awkward. "You guys talk first." "I'm leaving," Luo Tsai and Kasahara Yuki said at the same time. Tang Ao smiled bitterly. Today is the finals for the top 5 of the Dragon and Phoenix leaderboard. You guys prepare well. Okay. This time, Kasahara Yuki did not say anything to avoid the awkwardness and only nodded. Then, she went to prepare for the next match. Although Luo Tsai agreed, she had no intention of leaving. After Kasahara Yuki left, Luo Tsai sat beside Tang Ao openly. "Tang Ao, you're not being honest. You've already hooked up with junior sister Kasahara Yuki in such a short time," Luo Tsai teased casually. However, after Luo Tsai said that, Tang Ao pulled her into his arms. "I'll protect you." Chapter 244. At that moment, the final match of the Dragon and Phoenix Rankings competition was taking place in the dueling arena. It could also be considered the most interesting match of the Dragon and Phoenix rankings competition. The first ranker of the previous Dragon and Phoenix rankings, Dong Xinyi, versus the second ranker of the previous Dragon and Phoenix rankings, Ouyang Duan. Initially, based on Dong Xinyi and Ouyang Duan's previous performances, most people had thought that the first place of the Dragon and Phoenix rankings would belong to Dong Xinyi again. However, in Ouyang Duan's previous match, there was a small problem. Fang Xiuling, who was not thought highly of by the crowd, had actually awakened the 21st level spiritual light thousand-leaf willow life spirit, and was evenly matched with Ouyang Duan. Moreover, he seemed to be suppressing Ouyang Duan. Left with no other choice, Ouyang Duan also summoned the life spirit of the 21st floor, the corpse cage dragon, to fight against Fang Xiuling. In the end, the corpse cage dragon severely injured Fang Xiuling and rendered him powerless to continue fighting. Meanwhile, Kasuhara Yuki, who was supposed to fight Fang Xiuling, was lucky enough to advance to the next round. Ouyang Duan was also very helpless towards all of this. If it weren't for Fang Xiuling being so overbearing, he wouldn't have wanted to reveal his trump cards so early. Furthermore, although he had awakened the 21st Firmament Corpse Cage Dragon Life Soul, he still couldn't summon the Skeleton Cage Dragon Life Soul. However, he still didn't have complete control over the Thousand Leaves Willow Life Spirit, so he didn't want to let Kasuya take advantage of him when he fought Fang Xiuling. He just wanted to defeat Fang Xiuling, but he didn't expect that his attack would severely injure Fang Xiuling, who possessed the Thousand Leaves Willow Life Spirit. Seeing how happy Kasuhara Yuki was, Ouyang Duan was so angry that his teeth itched. Fortunately, Ouyang Duanjing had also gained something from this battle. After all, the person he was fighting against was also an owner of the spiritual light Thousand Leaves Willow Life Spirit at the peak of the 21st layer of heaven. Through the battle with Fang Xiuling, his control over the corpse cage dragon life soul had improved. It could be said that apart from Tang Ao's mutated jade bone life soul, the corpse cage dragon life soul was undoubtedly the best life soul in the 21st firmament. Hence, everyone was even more excited about the match between Dong Xinyi and Ouyang Duan. Although the battle between Tang Ao and Dongswini had been very exciting not long ago, Tang Ao hadn't revealed such a high-level life soul. In the past Dragon and Phoenix rankings, this was also a battle between life souls of the highest level. Dong Xinyi, this is the third time we are fighting since we entered the 7 Kills sect. This time, I must defeat you, Ouyang Duan said as he summoned the corpse jail dragon life soul. A bone dragon the size of a quarter of the arena gradually appeared. Waves of evil and deathly still aura emanated from the bone dragon's body. Within the empty eye sockets of the bone dragon, there were 2 wisps of blue hellfire. Although the bone dragon had yet to make any moves, that powerful pressure had already pressed down on everyone to the point of suffocation. Dongswini, who bore the brunt of the attack, had his aura thrown into disarray. It was clear that he had been greatly affected by the bone dragon. Oh! Hearing Ouyang Duan's words, Dongswini replied calmly. Seeing Dong Xinye's expression, Ouyang Duan could not help but feel like exploding. But at this moment Dongswini continued, "You've already said this twice." Hearing these words, Ouyang Duan was instantly enraged. However, before he could do anything, Dong Xinye's 7 beams of light were already blasting towards him. At the same time the 7 streams of light wrapped around Ouyang Duan, 21 mysterious night beads also appeared behind Dongswini. When the spectating disciples saw the 21 mysterious night beads appear behind Dongswini, they were instantly stunned. The life soul that senior brother Dongswini is using this 7 Kills massacre art doesn't seem to be conjured from the mysterious night beads. Chapter 245. I knew it. Senior brother Dongswini is such a genius. How can he only awaken 1 life soul, the Night Pearl? Below the dueling platform, Tang Ao thought to himself as he looked at Dongswini, who was on the dueling platform. When he and Dong Xuanya had fought, both of them seemed to have used their full strength, but Dong Xuanya had indeed held back, just like him. The 7 life souls that Dong Xuanya had summoned with the 7 slaughter sage Wei were all 20th heaven life souls. Ouyang Duan snorted coldly at the sight of Dong Xian Ye's 7 killing sage Dao as a bone blade instantly appeared in his hand. This bone saber was called the Soul Experience Saber, and it was also a rare treasure. Ouyang Duan waved his hand, and the corpse prison dragon life soul from the 21st heaven instantly charged towards Dong Xuanya. As for Ouyang Duan, he raised the Experience Soul Saber and met Dong Xuanya's 7 streams of light. I didn't expect Ouyang Duan and Dong Xuanya to be so powerful. Beside Tang Ao, Luo Tsai sighed as she looked at Dong Xuanya and Ouyang Duan on the arena. Although strange things happened frequently in this year's Dragon and Phoenix rankings duels, there were many more points to watch compared to the previous years. Putting aside Dong Xuanya and Ouyang Duan, who were ranked first in the previous Dragon and Phoenix leaderboard and second in the previous Dragon and Phoenix leaderboard. Even Fang Xiuling, who was ranked 9th on the previous Dragon and Phoenix roll, had successfully awakened the 21st Firmament Spirit Light Thousand-Leaf Willow Life Soul. Moreover, Tang Ao, the newly promoted inner disciple, had not only successfully made his way into the Dragon and Phoenix rankings, he had even fought to a draw with Dong Xinyi, who was ranked first in the previous Dragon and Phoenix rankings. Seeing that Tang Ao was ignoring her, Luo Tsai poked Tang Ao's waist and asked, "Have you also awakened a 21st Firmament Life Soul?" "Yes." At this moment, Tang Ao was completely focused on the battle between Ouyang Duan and Dong Xinyi. He and Ouyang Duan had a long history of enmity, and Ouyang Duan's methods were also endless. Ouyang Duan would definitely find trouble with him when he entered the Underworld Emperor Mystic Realm. Hence, Tang Ao wanted to accept Ouyang Duan's challenge, and gather as much information as he could about Ouyang Duan. He did not want to fall into Ouyang Duan's trap in the Netherworld Emperor Mystic Realm. When Luo Tsai heard that Tang Ao had also awakened a 21st Firmament Life Soul, she immediately felt a sense of defeat. "All of you have 21 Heavenly Fate Souls. Only junior sister Kasahara, Yuki, and I don't. What life soul did you awaken?" Luo Tsai was very interested in the 21st Firmament Life Soul that Tang Ao had awakened. This was because Tang Ao had never used the powerful 21st Firmament Life Soul in this Dragon and Phoenix ranking competition. Tang Ao stretched out his right hand, palm up. Not long after, Tang Ao's palm was filled with specks of pale green light. This light was very gentle, and it gave the eyes a very comfortable feeling. Although Luo Tsai did not know what kind of life spirit it was, judging from the faint aura it exuded, it was indeed a life spirit from the 21st heaven. What kind of life soul is this? I have never seen or heard of it before. Luo Tsai was a little curious about Tang Ao's life soul. As the daughter of the 7 Kills sect leader and the successor of the Luo family of the Desolate Antiquity, she had been well-read since she was young, and knew many things that others did not. But when faced with Tang Ao's special life soul, Luo Tsai was still stunned. This is the unique Jade Bone Life Soul in the 21st Firmament, and it can heal injuries. Actually, I have already used this life soul in the battle with Dong Xinyi. It is just that it is too obscure, so it is very difficult to detect. Tang Ao did not hide anything from Luo Tsai. The hidden jade in stone physique and the heavenly phoenix spirit jade physique were destined by the heavens. Chapter 246. Luo Tsai covered her mouth in surprise. This is the legendary Jade Bone Vitality Life Soul. I didn't expect this life soul to look like this. Luo Tsai curiously stretched out her slender hand to wipe the light green light spot on Tang Ao's palm, but Tang Ao grabbed her hand. "You're so annoying. Let go of me or I'll beat you up," Luo Tsai said as she raised her fist. But then Luo Tsai was stunned again because she felt that a part of the light green light spot had actually poured into her body. The light green light spot that poured into her body was somewhat like a life soul, but also like a special kind of spiritual power. Then Luo Tsai tried to communicate with the light green light spot that poured into her body, and she found that the light green light spot was very obedient. Then Luo Tsai followed Tang Ao's example and gathered the light green light spot in her palm. In an instant, Luo Tsai's palm looked like there were hundreds of fireflies flying around. What's going on? Luo Tsai felt that in such a short time, Tang Ao's special life soul had actually merged with her. It was as if this life soul was the one she had awakened. Moreover, this life soul quickly established an intimate connection with Luo Tsai's soul. If Luo Tsai didn't know how this life soul came about, she would probably suspect that this life soul was awakened by herself. Even she herself suspected that she had awakened this life soul on her own. Luo Tsai even believed that even if she showed this life soul to her father would definitely think that she had awakened it on her own. Thinking of this, Luo Tsai looked at Tang Ao as if she was looking at a monster. In your body is a child life soul of the Jade Bone Vitality life soul. Now, compared with the Jade Bone Vitality life soul in my body, your life soul is still a little weak, but in time, it can also grow to the strength of the 21st Heaven life soul. As Tang Ao continued to study the Heaven evolution record, passed down by the Sixth Light Mirror, he also had a deeper understanding of some life souls. For example, the method of the Jade Bone Vitality life soul separating the child life soul was a special ability of the Jade Bone Vitality life soul recorded in the Heaven evolution record. Then how long can this Jade Bone life soul you gave me last? This was the first time Luo Tsai had seen such a method of separating a life soul. She was also very curious about the Jade Bone life soul Tang Ao had given her. Luo Tsai had always been curious about everything. Seeing such a magical thing this time, she naturally wanted to ask Tang Ao about it. As long as I'm alive, the life soul in your body will always be there. Of course, you can also think that it will exist forever, because I will definitely live well and protect you. Tang Ao looked at Luo Tsai with clear eyes and said very seriously. Several black lines appeared on Luo Tsai's forehead, and she secretly lamented in her heart. She was happy and shy at the same time. Her emotions were very complicated. Tang Ao was really too much. He kept saying such things to him. He was really too annoying. While Luo Tsai was lost in her thoughts, Tang Ao began to carefully observe the intense battle between Dongswani and Ouyang Duan on the arena. Chapter 247. On the dueling platform, this newly repaired dueling platform was once again beaten to a miserable state by Dongxian Yi and Ouyang Duan. It was different from the seven-colored flowing light that overflowed in the battle between Tang Ao and Dongxian Yi. The entire arena was covered in dust from the battle between Ouyang Duan and Dongxian Yi, and even the ground beneath the arena would occasionally tremble. Although it was impossible to clearly see the extent of the battle between the two on the platform, the frequency and amplitude of the tremors were increasing. It was clear that the two on the platform were not having an easy time either. Suddenly, Tang Ao pulled Luo Tsai up. Luo Tsai was gradually becoming immune to Tang Ao's sudden actions. She suppressed her anger and did her best to calm herself down. If you continue to be like this, what will I do if I can't get married in the future? Tang Ao did not say anything, because even if Tang Ao did not say anything, Luo Tsai would have understood. It turned out that the battle between Dongxian Yi and Ouyang Duan had caused too much of a commotion, and the ground around the viewing platform had instantly split open into several cracks that were 2 meters wide and several meters deep. And Luo Tsai had just happened to be fighting on one of the cracks. Tang Ao possessed the Heaven's Eye technique, so he could clearly see the situation of the battle between the two on the platform. but the others were all blocked by the protective barrier around the dueling platform and the flying dust on the platform, so they did not discover the powerful ripples that had leaked out from the dueling platform in time. This sudden scene also gave the spectating disciples quite a fright. A few disciples who did not react in time even fell into the cracks that had suddenly split open. "Who can tell me what's going on? What's going on? Why am I the one who fell into the pit? Senior brothers, pull me up. This little brother's legs have turned to jelly. This match is too dangerous. I'm not watching anymore, I'm going back." As the disciples below the dueling platform clamored, the elders on the viewing platform were also secretly shocked. The commotion caused by these two little fellows is indeed a little too big. Not bad, not bad. They have the demeanor of this old man in the past. Third elder, I get a headache every time you boast. Can you stop boasting? What? Fourth junior brother, you didn't even enter the top 3 of the Dragon rankings and Phoenix rankings all those years ago, yet you have the nerve to criticize me? Third senior brother, don't mention such trivial matters from the past. It's not the era of us old guys anymore. After pulling out the disciples who had fallen into the pit, everyone began to discuss again. The Dragon and Phoenix rankings this time were much more special than the previous years, and many unforeseen events had occurred as well. Not only were there some hot topics, but there were also some dark horses in some competitions. The only thing that was slightly better than the previous years was this year's Dragon and Phoenix ranking tournament. The tragedy of Jiang Zhulu being ravaged by the top 3 experts of the Dragon and Phoenix rankings did not happen again. Say, who do you think will win between senior brother Ouyang Duan and senior brother Dong Xuanya? That's hard to say. Currently, senior brother Dong Xuanya's battle record is 4 wins and 1 draw, while senior brother Ouyang Duan's battle record is 5 wins. If senior brother Dong Xuanya wins this battle, he will still be number 1. If senior brother Dong Xuanya and senior brother Ouyang Duan end up in a draw, the first place of the Dragon and Phoenix rankings will belong to senior brother Ouyang Duan. Sigh, this is unfair to senior brother Dong Xuanya. Even senior brother Ouyang Duan has not fought with Tang Ao before. That's right. Moreover, senior brother Dong Xuanya has expended a lot of energy when he fought with Tang Ao. Chapter 248. For a moment the expressions of the spectators changed instantly. Dong Xuanya's supporters all had bitter looks on their faces. They had never thought that the invincible Dong Xuanya would actually be defeated by Ouyang Duan. Luo Tsai was also somewhat disappointed. After a while, Luo Tsai suddenly pinched Tang Ao's waist. "It's all your fault. Back then, who told you to admit defeat when you fought against me? Look at it now. You don't even have the chance to participate in the battle for the number 1 position on the Dragon and Phoenix rankings. Didn't I fight against the number 1 on the Dragon and Phoenix rankings?" Tang Ao said with a faint smile. Of course, Luo Tsai understood that Tang Ao was talking about the duel between him and Dong Xianyi. However, Luo Tsai wanted to talk about the duel between Tang Ao and the first ranker of the Dragon and Phoenix rankings, Ouyang Duan. But Luo Tsai didn't say it in the end, because after the smoke and dust on the duel arena dissipated, an unbelievable scene appeared before everyone's eyes. On the dueling arena, Dong Xuanyi single-handedly lifted Ouyang Duan, who was completely powerless, in front of him. Dong Xianye's aura was also very chaotic, but it was clearly much better than Ouyang Duan, who was completely unable to move. In this way, it was obvious who was the first on this year's Dragon and Phoenix rankings. This sudden turn of events left the crowd unable to react in time. Earlier on, when they saw Ouyang Duan's figure, they had assumed that Ouyang Duan had won in the end. Who would have thought that Ouyang Duan would be defeated by Dong Xianyi in the end? After Dong Xianye's victory, Dong Xianye's supporters naturally erupted into thunderous cheers. At the same time, A portion of the disciples also felt that Tang Ao's luck was really bad. He had already fought to a draw with Dong Xinyi, but in the end, he had to admit defeat against Luo Tsai. At the side, Luo Tsai also reprimanded Tang Ao rather exasperatedly. "Look at you. If you hadn't admitted defeat when we fought, you would have been tied for first place on the Dragon and Phoenix rankings with senior brother Dong Xuanye. It's fine, the result is no longer important." Tang Ao looked at Luo Tsai playfully. Seeing Tang Ao's eyes, Luo Tsai subconsciously took a few steps back. "What are you talking about? Besides, even though I lost a match and didn't get first place, I still beat you." "What nonsense are you talking about? I'm ignoring you." On the arena, Dong Xuanye carried Ouyang Duan with great difficulty as he walked down the arena. After Dong Xinyi left the dueling stage, the originally extremely sturdy dueling stage instantly turned into a pile of stone powder. Under the violent battle between Dong Xinyi and Ouyang Duan, the battle arena was completely unable to withstand it. After Dong Xuanye walked off the dueling arena, the Great Elder announced the result of the battle. The Great Elder flew into the air and stood still. He looked at the participants and the spectators. This year's 7 Kills Sex Dragon and Phoenix ranking competition has come to an end, and the 7 Kills Sex new Dragon and Phoenix ranking experts have been born. Next, I will announce the top 10 experts on the Dragon and Phoenix leaderboard. You can check the rankings of the other experts on the Dragon and Phoenix leaderboard by yourselves at the 7 Kills Sex Plaza. The top 10 of this year's Dragon and Phoenix rankings are as follows. First place, Dong Xuanye. Upon hearing Dong Xinye's name, the crowd cheered without waiting for the First Elder to continue. The Great Elder did not stop the crowd. In fact, in the Great Elder's opinion, the first place of the Dragon and Phoenix leaderboard was indeed deserving of such an honor. At the same time, the Great Elder also felt that it was a pity for Tang Ao, who had fought to a draw with Dong Xinyi. If Tang Ao and Luo Tsai had not messed around during the battle, Tang Ao and Dong Xinyi would already be tied for first place on the Dragon and Phoenix leaderboard. Second place, Ouyang Duan. Chapter 249. In the battle just now, he had only lost to Dong Xuanye by half a move. But it was this half move that made him completely lose the ability to fight again. He was very unwilling to accept this. This was the closest he had been to success in so many years. Third place, Tang Ao. When Tang Ao's name was announced, the crowd immediately cheered. Especially the outer sect disciples, who treated Tang Ao as a role model. He had been promoted from the outer sect to the inner sect in the shortest time possible, became a disciple of the Dragon and Phoenix rankings in the shortest time possible, and became a disciple of the top 3 in the shortest time possible. Some of Tang Ao's achievements were also widely spread in the 7 Kills sect, and he shone brilliantly. Although Tang Ao was only third place, the crowd's cheers and applause were even louder than when they heard Dong Xuanye's name. Anyone could tell that if Tang Ao had not deliberately admitted defeat against Luo Tsai, Tang Ao would have been this year's top expert on the Dragon and Phoenix rankings. And because Tang Ao had admitted defeat against Luo Tsai, many male disciples saw it as an act of grace. In the future, the matter of male disciples admitting defeat in the 7 Kills sex competitions was a headache for the elders. In the end, they even made it mandatory to not admit defeat before the competition, which stopped the wave of admitting defeat. Fourth place, Luo Tsai. Fifth place, Kasahara Yuki. Although Luo Tsai and Kasahara Yuki were only fourth and fifth, they were known as the two great beauties of the inner sect and were naturally quite popular. It even caused some friction between the two supporters. On the viewing platform a little further away from the dueling platform, Supreme Elder Feng Ye looked at Dong Xuanye, Tang Ao, and the other disciples with great satisfaction. Feng Ye took a step forward and completely disappeared. When he reappeared, he was already in front of Tang Ao and the others. This was a great ability that could shrink the ground. Tang Ao and the others were shocked to see Feng Ye suddenly appear in front of them. When the first elder saw Feng Ye in midair, he hurriedly descended and bowed. Martial nephew greets Uncle Master Feng Ye. It hadn't been long since Tang Ao joined the Seven Kills sect, so he naturally didn't know Feng Ye, nor had he heard of this Grandmaster Feng Ye. However, Dong Xianyi, Luo Tsai, and the others recognized him. Hence, the disciples of the Seven Kills sect also bowed and paid their respects. Disciple greets Ancestor Feng Ye. Forget it, forget it. It's not like you little fellows don't know that this old man hates these unnecessary formalities the most. All of you did very well in this year's Dragon and Phoenix rankings, especially the few little fellows who were in the top 5. Go back and have a good rest. 3 days later, this old man will personally send all of you to participate in the Netherworld Emperor Mystic Realm trial. After Feng Ye finished speaking, a life soul in the shape of a white jade bottle appeared behind him. There was a willow branch in the white jade bottle. Feng Ye waved his sleeve, and the willow branch, dipped in the crystal-clear liquid, flew into the air. In an instant, the sparkling and translucent droplets flew onto everyone's bodies and quickly entered their bodies. After that, everyone was surprised to find that their injuries were almost healed. Ouyang Duan, who was initially unable to move at all, also stood up at this moment. Evidently, the injuries on his body had recovered. Ouyang Duan looked at the spring rejuvenation jade bottle floating in midair, and his eyes were burning with passion. The spring rejuvenation jade bottle in midair looked like a life soul, but it was actually a special treasure that was a combination of a life soul and a spiritual treasure. This life soul was called the Sky Rejuvenation Dew Life Soul. If one wanted to awaken this life soul, they would have to use the spring rejuvenation jade bottle in midair. This time, he had suffered such serious injuries, but this life soul and this spiritual treasure were actually able to help him recover instantly. Ouyang Duan made up his mind that one day, he would get his hands on this spring rejuvenation jade bottle. Chapter 250. The next morning, the elders and disciples of the Seven Kills sect sent them off. Tang Ao, Dong Xianyi, and the other 4 were led by Supreme Elder Feng Ye to the entrance of the Emperor Netherworld Mystic Realm to begin the trial. When the group of outer disciples looked at Tang Ao, their eyes were filled with worship. I want to cultivate diligently in the future so that I can be as amazing as senior brother Tang Ao in the future. Me too. I want to enter the inner sect within 2 years. Since all of you are about to enter the inner sect, I have to start working hard too. Tang Ao and the rest were sitting on a white jade boat belonging to Supreme Elder Feng Ye. Even though the white jade boat was already in midair, Tang Ao could still hear the commotion below. Tang Ao felt a little emotional as he listened to the conversation of these outer sect disciples. He could not help but smile confidently. The outer sect disciples were very supportive of Tang Ao, but the inner sect disciples were different. Looking at Tang Ao on the white jade boat, the group of inner sect disciples was full of disdain. Didn't this Tang Ao just learn the 7-kill slaughtering art by luck? What's there to be proud of? That's right. As long as I have half a month, I can also learn the 7-kill slaughtering art. I heard that many outer sect disciples already see Tang Ao as an existence on the same level as senior brother Dong Xianyi. TSK, you guys saw the battle between senior brother Dong Xianyi and senior brother Ouyang Duan. If it were Tang Ao, how many seconds could he last? 5 or 3? He's just a lucky guy. If senior brother Dong Xianyi didn't intend to spar with him with the 7-kill slaughtering art, he would have been smashed to smithereens by senior brother Dong Xianyi's mysterious night pearl. What do you mean by spar with senior brother Dong Xianyi? Senior brother Dong Xianyi obviously went easy on him. Otherwise, do you think that Tang Ao could really fight with senior brother Dong Xianyi? However, Tang Ao could not hear these words. Other than Tang Ao's group of 5 and Supreme Elder Feng Ye, Deacon Wu, who was responsible for the safety of everyone on the Dragon and Phoenix Rankings duel arena, was also present on the White Jade Arkansas. Grand Elder Feng Ye's flying spirit artifact was extremely fast, and it didn't take long for the 7 Kills sect to completely disappear from everyone's sight. At this time, Deacon Wu coughed lightly and said, "The Netherworld Emperor's mystic realm that you're heading to is an inheritance mystic realm left behind by the ancient Netherworld Emperor. In the records of my 7 Kills sect, the Netherworld Emperor mystic realm opens once every 10,000 years. Furthermore, only cultivators below the Spirit Sea realm can enter. You guys have quite the good fortune." Deacon Wu, how many times has the Netherworld Emperor mystic realm opened? At the same time, Dong Xianyi was a little confused. Not only did this Underworld Emperor space open once every 10,000 years, why was it restricted to martial artists below the Sea of Souls realm? According to the records of my 7 Kills sect, this Netherworld Emperor mystic realm has only been opened twice, including this time. Moreover, a powerful demonic beast had appeared in the Netherworld Emperor mystic realm previously, and all the participants had been slaughtered by that demonic beast. This time, you guys have to be careful in the Netherworld Emperor mystic realm. Feng Ye was at the front of the White Jade Arkansas. As he listened to Deacon Wu, Tang Ao, and the others talk about the distant past, his thoughts couldn't help but wander back to 10,000 years ago. At that time, the 7 Kills sect didn't have the Dragon and Phoenix rankings. When they heard that the Netherworld Emperor mystic realm had opened, their protective master didn't know which 5 disciples should enter the Netherworld Emperor mystic realm. Chapter 251. It was just that he didn't expect such an accident to happen in the Underworld Emperor's secret realm. None of the 9 disciples who entered the Underworld Emperor's secret realm came out. Deacon Wu, may I know who will be participating in the Underworld Emperor's secret realm? Tang Ao was also very interested in the Underworld Emperor's secret realm. He had heard of such a place in his previous life. However, he was too strong in his previous life and the Underworld Emperor's secret realm hadn't opened yet. Thus, he didn't have the chance to explore the Underworld Emperor's secret realm until his death. The Underworld Emperor's secret realm only opened once every 10,000 years, and the same thing happened the first time it opened. There would definitely be many dangers and treasures inside. It was necessary to understand the opponents they would encounter in advance. The Underworld Emperor's secret realm this time around can be said to be participated in by all the forces in the Black-Yellow continent. It's just that the number of disciples participating varies according to the strength of each force. The highest number is 5 and the lowest is 1. The Underworld Emperor's secret realm had always been under the control of the 8 sects and 6 great clans of the primordial era. However, because the Underworld Emperor's secret realm had always been closed, the 6 great clans and 8 great clans of the primordial era didn't reap any benefits from it. Moreover, under the pressure of the various forces in the Black-Yellow continent, the 8 great clans and 6 great clans of the primordial era couldn't only allow their own disciples to explore the Underworld Emperor's secret realm. Under the demands of the various forces in the Black-Yellow continent, the 8 great clans and 8 great clans of the primordial era finally decided to allocate the quotas according to the strength of the forces in the Underworld Emperor's secret realm. A top-notch sect like the 7 Kills sect had 5 slots. On the other hand, some of the weaker smaller sects might only have 1 quota. However, specifically, you need to pay attention to the disciples of the other 7 sects and the 6 great clans of the primordial era. As for the disciples of the other smaller sects, you should be able to deal with them. Deacon Wu had been traveling the world ever since he retired as an elder, so he had a certain understanding of the top disciples of the various sects and clans. From his point of view, Tang Ao, Dong Xianyi, and the others could be considered the cream of the crop among their peers. Tang Ao frowned when he heard Deacon Wu's words. He seemed to have offended more than half of the forces that Deacon Wu mentioned. Although he wasn't afraid at all, it would still be too troublesome if they met in the Netherworld Emperor's mystic realm. As the few of them spoke, Feng Ye had already controlled the white jade boat to fly past thousands of mountains and rivers. This place was already very far away from the Seven Kills sect. The competition for the Dragon and Phoenix rankings this time has taken up some time. Sit tight, this old man is going to travel at full speed. The Underworld Emperor Mystic Realm was located very far from the Seven Kills sect, and the Seven Kills sect's Dragon and Phoenix rankings competition this time took a little more time than usual. Therefore, Feng Ye originally wanted to bring everyone to play and relax, but now it seemed that it was impossible. Feng Ye formed a hand seal, and Bai Yuzhou immediately shot out like an arrow. A barrier rose up on the white jade boat, completely isolating the inside of the boat from the outside. However, there was still a buzzing sound in their ears. It was obvious that the white jade boat was moving too fast, and the sound of it tearing through the air was produced. Chapter 252. This was already extremely rare. One had to know that the space shuttle was known as the world's fastest divine artifact. Although Feng Ye's was a fake, it was still a rare treasure. Bai Yuzhou traversed through the air for a while before finally landing on a huge platform. The platform was densely packed with people. According to Tang Ao's calculations, there were 6 great clans, 8 great sects, and a few other sections. There were at most 100 people, but there were more than 1,000 people standing on the platform. Seeing Bai Yuzhou from the Seven Kills sect arrive, the Dragon Transformation Pavilion and Heavenly Star Sacred Sect elders exchanged glances. Before Tang Ao and the others landed, the Heavenly Star Sacred Sect elder said, "Since the Seven Kills sect is here, the disciples can enter the Netherworld Emperor Mystic Realm." The Heavenly Star Sacred Sect elder's voice was very loud, clearly for the Seven Kills sect to hear. Luo Tsai's pretty face changed. The Heavenly Star Sacred Sect is too despicable. They actually let others enter before us. The Netherworld Emperor Mystic Realm opened once every 10,000 years, so there were naturally many treasures inside. Moreover, everything inside was ownerless. Naturally, it was first come, first serve. On Bai Yuzhou, Tang Ao stared at the beautiful voice in the crowd below. Tang Ao's face gradually turned cold. Since he met Qin Yueshuang here, there was clearly going to be a lot of trouble this time. But since he met her here, he could settle the score from before. The Heavenly Star Sacred Sect disciples were standing closest to the entrance of the Netherworld Emperor Mystic Realm. With the Heavenly Star Sacred Sect Elder's order, a few people instantly flashed into the Netherworld Emperor Mystic Realm. The moment they entered the Netherworld Emperor Mystic Realm, Qin Yueshuang suddenly felt a gaze locking onto her. Qin Yueshuang immediately turned around and saw the most disgusting person in her, Tang Ao. Qin Yueshuang didn't expect that trash like Tang Ao could actually represent the Seven Kills sect to participate in the Netherworld Emperor Mystic Realm trial. It seemed like the Seven Kills sect had indeed declined. Even a trash like Tang Ao could represent the Seven Kills sect to participate in the Netherworld Emperor Mystic Realm's trial. Seeing Tang Ao, Qin Yueshuang immediately recalled the past, and her pretty face instantly changed. At this moment, she had already decided in her heart that Tang Ao could be considered lucky if he didn't encounter her in this training. But once he encountered her, she would definitely make him regret his wrong decision of going against her for the rest of his life. When more than half of the participants had entered the Mystic Realm, Feng Ye and the rest landed on the platform at the entrance of the Mystic Realm. Just as the people from the Seven Kills sect landed on the platform, the elders from the Heavenly Star Sacred Sect and the Dragon Transformation Pavilion immediately looked at Tang Ao and the others with mocking eyes. When they saw that the leader of the 7 Kills sect was Deacon Wu, the smiles in the eyes of the Heavenly Star Sacred Sect and the Evolving Dragon Pavilion's elders deepened. What's wrong? Does this 7 Kills sect really have no one left? To actually have an attendant lead the group? If your 7 Kills sect can't continue, why don't you merge with my Heavenly Star Sacred Sect? The voice of the Heavenly Star Sacred Sect's second elder, Wei Xiansong, was very loud. When he spoke, he even wrapped his voice with spiritual power and transmitted it outward. His words were clearly heard by everyone present. But after that, a resounding slap rang out from his face. Everyone naturally heard it clearly as well. Wei Xiansong covered his face with a look of disbelief. He was one of the few life and death realm cultivators in the Black-Yellow continent. But at this moment, he was slapped on the face, and he didn't even know who did it. Chapter 253. Thinking of this, Wei Xiansong was immediately enraged. Which bastard sneak attacked your grandpa Wei? Hurry up and come out, and this old man will leave your corpse intact. Wei Xiansong said as his gaze swept over the crowd. Wei Xuansong's gaze swept over, and a powerful spiritual pressure surged out of his body. Some of the weaker juniors couldn't bear it and knelt down. Seeing their own sect's disciples kneel under Wei Xuansong's powerful spiritual pressure, these elders also revealed bitter expressions. But facing Wei Xiansong, who was at life and death realm, they couldn't do anything. Under this powerful spiritual pressure, they could easily protect themselves, but wanting to help their own sect's disciples resist Wei Xuansong's might was a pipe dream. These elders of small sects were mostly at the first or second level of Sea of Souls realm, not much stronger than Dongxian Yi and the others. Seeing Wei Xuansong's increasing might, their expressions became even uglier. At this moment, everyone hoped that the guy who sneak attacked Wei Xiansong would quickly stand out. In front of so many people, as long as he was willing to apologize to Wei Xiansong definitely wouldn't kill him. Seeing that no one stood out, Wei Xuansong's expression darkened. Since no one admits, then no one is allowed to leave here today. If I don't tear this bastard apart, this old man won't be able to vent my anger. Wei Xiansong said as he threw a golden alms bowl into the air. Multiple golden lights shot down, surrounding everyone. Seeing everyone's somewhat frightened expression, Wei Xiansong was very satisfied. At this moment, Wei Xiansong thought to himself, I can't let these people think that I, Grandpa Wei, am easy to mess with. In a moment, I'll tell these juniors that if I don't find the thief today, the remaining disciples don't have to participate in this Underworld Emperor's Secret Realm trial. But Wei Xiansong quickly rejected this idea. Although he was very domineering, it would also make him seem too useless. As a life and death realm martial artist, he didn't even know who sneak attacked him. He had to say something else. Just say that this old man already knew about the thief, and in order not to affect the juniors participating in the Underworld Emperor's Secret Realm trial, this old man killed the thief on the spot. Wei Xiansong felt that this was very well said. Not only did it give him face, it also had the demeanor of a great master. As for killing them, he just had to summon a bolt of golden lightning and kill whoever he wanted. Everyone looked at Wei Xiansong nervously. In just a while, the entrance to the Netherworld Emperor's secret ground would close. In order to participate in the Netherworld Emperor Mystic Realms trial, the bigger sects were slightly better off. As for the smaller sects that were further away, they had to travel for a full 3 years. If he ended up not being able to enter the Underworld Emperor Mystic Realm because of such a small matter, he would probably never be able to undo this knot in his heart. While everyone was anxiously waiting, Wei Xiansong seemed to be about to speak again. Everyone heaved a sigh of relief in their hearts when they saw this. With Wei Xuansong's status and identity, I presume he wouldn't go against all of us juniors. However, at this moment, a sudden change occurred. Under Wei Xuansong's full vigilance, An even more resounding slap rang out in everyone's ears, and a few teeth flew out from Wei Xuanzong's mouth. Everyone was so scared that their faces turned pale. Even the Dragon Transformation Pavilion elder beside Wei Xiansong took 2 steps back, without leaving a trace. Wei Xiansong also came back to his senses and looked at the white-robed elder in front of him. Wei Xiansong laughed sinisterly and wanted to say a few words, but he was slapped again by Fengya. Chapter 254. You! Wei Xuanzong's face turned red, not knowing what to say. But Fengya was the first to speak. You little bastard, you really can't spit out ivory from a dog's mouth. Your master, Tian Xingzi, died early, so your ancestor, Fengya, will teach you on behalf of your master how to speak to your seniors. Fengya spoke and slapped Wei Xuanzong's face. 2 of his teeth flew out and the left side of his face swelled up like a pig's head. TSK, TSK, TSK. Look at you, you really can't say anything nice. Everyone looked at Fengya teaching the arrogant Wei Xiansong a lesson on the e-commerce platform and were secretly delighted. At the same time, they were curious why the 7 Kills sect had such a ruthless person. Who is this person? He's too bold to dare hit the 2nd elder of the Heavenly Star Sacred Sect. You don't even know the 7 Kills sect's Master Fengya? He hasn't appeared for thousands of years, and we thought he had ascended. Who would have thought he was still alive? Master Fengya? He's from the same generation as Wei Xuanzong's master? Of course, the Heavenly Star Sacred Sect's ancestor Tian Xingzi was only an in-name disciple of Master Fengya. When Tian Xingzi saw Master Fengya, he had to call him senior brother, so Wei Xiansong should also call him martial uncle. After knowing that the person in front of him was Master Fengya, Wei Xiansong was shocked. He didn't expect that he would be unable to establish his dominance, and instead stick to a metal plate. Little bastard, let me ask you, how much longer is there before the Underworld Emperor's secret realm entry time? Wei Xiansong said shakily. Martial uncle, please calm down, there's still an hour. Hearing Wei Xuanzong's words, Master Fengya immediately raised his hand. Wei Xiansong immediately knelt on the ground in fright. Get up, this old man doesn't like these formalities. Why do you have to bow to this old man? Those who do not know are not guilty. Since you do not know that the one who slapped you is this old man, if I continue to blame you, it will make me seem narrow-minded. Taoist Fengya said somewhat angrily when he saw Wei Xiansong kneeling to him. Hearing Fengya's words, Wei Xiansong heaved a sigh of relief in his heart. Taoist Master Fengya hadn't shown herself for 3,000 years, and everyone in the Heavenly Star Sacred Sect thought that she had already died. Who would have thought that this old man was still alive and well? He was really unlucky to have run into this old man's hands. Wei Xiansong was very depressed in his heart, depressed to the point of wanting to vomit blood. At this time, Fengya raised his head to look at the golden alms bowl that enveloped everyone in the air. His face lit up with joy, but it quickly turned serious. Little bastard, your broken bowl is making me dizzy. I'll put it away for you. Then, Fengya waved his sleeves and the demon-subduing golden alms bowl flew into his sleeves. This was the Cosmos sleeve technique. Wei Xuanzong's heart was simply about to drip blood. He originally only took out this divine artifact devil-subduing golden alms bowl for the sake of showing off a little. He never expected that it would actually be coveted by this old punk, Fengya. He had spent half of his fortune to obtain this evil-subduing golden alms bowl, so how could he let Fengya take it? Martial Uncle Fengya, Martial Nephew will keep this broken bowl well in the future. Please return it to me, Martial Uncle. Wei Xiansong didn't care so much at this moment, and immediately stretched out both hands to ask Fengya for it. Hee little bastard, not only do you not know how to respect your elders, there's something wrong with your head. Since it's a broken bowl, what do you want it for? Grand Master will help you keep it. Chapter 255. Feng Ye ignored Wei Xiansong and said to the crowd, "Since Wei Xiansong from the Heavenly Star Sacred Sect has broken the rules, you guys can enter as well." Feng Ye's words made the crowd feel relieved. They hurriedly urged their disciples to enter the underworld Emperor Mystic Realm to prevent any more problems. Feng Ye then turned to Tang Ao and the rest and said amiably, "You guys can enter as well." Tang Ao and the rest quickly walked towards the entrance. Since more than half of the people from the Heavenly Star Sacred Sect had entered together, the entrance wasn't as crowded as before. At this moment, Wei Xiansong made up his mind and a red and blue sword appeared in his hands. He instantly stabbed towards Feng Ye. Feng Ye smiled when he saw the scarlet and profound dual swords in Wei Xiansong's hands. "You really don't know any better. You only know how to carry such trash on you." Feng Ye waved his sleeves and the scarlet and profound dual swords disappeared under Wei Xiansong's astonished gaze. Wei Xiansong, who had lost 2 treasures in a row, couldn't take it anymore. He spat out a mouthful of blood and fainted. Seeing Wei Xiansong faint, Feng Ye hurriedly said, "My martial nephew's cultivation is still shallow and his temperament is lacking. I'll bring him to the side to recuperate." Feng Ye picked up Wei Xiansong and flew into the distance. Before they left the crowd sight, Feng Ye took off Wei Xiansong's storage ring and put it in his sleeve. The surrounding elders of the various sects and the elders of the 6 great clans couldn't react. Is this the legendary Taoist master Feng Ye, who is of noble character and unrestrained integrity? Most likely. I hope Elder Wei Xiansong didn't bring too much with him this time. It seems like Enlightened Master Feng Ye isn't called Enlightened Master of Plentiful Treasures for no reason. Fortunately, I didn't target the 7 Kills sect this time. Seeing Elder Wei Xiansong's pitiful state, the elders of the smaller sects that were making things difficult for Wei Xiansong started to sympathize with him. They hoped that this incident wouldn't leave too much of a shadow in Elder Wei Xiansong's heart. But after all the participating disciples had entered the Underworld Emperor Mystic Domain, the entrance to the Underworld Emperor Mystic Domain was slowly sealed. What made them feel rather helpless was that they could only deduce when the Underworld Emperor Mystic Realm would open, but they couldn't deduce when it would close. Therefore, the group of sect elders could only wait outside for the Mystic Realm to end and for their own disciples to come out. Tang Ao and the rest entered the Netherworld Emperor Mystic Realm together. However, the moment they entered the Netherworld Emperor Mystic Realm, they were instantly transported away. After the dazzling white light disappeared, Tang Ao opened his eyes that were stinging in pain. Then, Tang Ao found that Luo Tsai and the others were not near him. At this moment, the person who was teleported to this place with him was an ice-cold woman in a tight outfit. The girl held 2 daggers in her hands. She lowered her center of gravity and stared at Tang Ao like a little leopard. After entering the Netherworld Emperor Mystic Realm, the outside world would definitely not know what had happened. Therefore, even if he died inside, his own sect would not be able to avenge him. Therefore, powerful people would be even more unbridled in the Netherworld Emperor Mystic Realm. Moreover, for the valuable treasures in the Netherworld Emperor Mystic Realm, every single person could become his enemy. At this moment, between Yi Han and Tang Ao, there was a valuable 3rd-grade spirit fruit, the Spirit Dragon Fruit. The Spirit Dragon Fruit could increase a peak Origin Realm martial artist's chance of entering the Spirit Sea Realm by 60%. It was a rare natural treasure. Yi Han could also tell that the Tang Ao in front of him was the same as him, a martial artist at the peak of the Origin Realm. Chapter 256. While Yi Han's attention was on Tang Ao and the Spirit Dragon Fruit, Tang Ao's attention was completely on Yi Han, or rather, on Yi Han's curvy figure. Even though he was used to seeing stunning beauties like Luo Tsai and Kasahara Yuki, Tang Ao had to admit that the girl in front of him was very pretty. Unlike the gentle and sweet Luo Tsai and the carefree Kashihara Yuki, the Yi Han in front of him was a spoiled and cold beauty. However, Tang Ao hoped that this beauty would take the spirit dragon fruit and leave as soon as possible. The spirit dragon fruit was a rare treasure. However, not many people knew that where the spirit dragon fruit grew, there would be a spirit dragon spring. Compared to the spirit dragon spring, the spirit dragon fruit was much inferior. The spirit dragon fruit could only increase the chance of a peak Yuan martial realm warrior reaching the Sea of Souls realm by 60%. However, the spirit dragon spring could allow a peak Yuan martial realm warrior to reach the Sea of Souls realm. Not only that, but after absorbing the special spiritual energy from the spiritual dragon spring, a cultivator's body and soul would be strengthened. The benefits to cultivation could be imagined. Moreover, after absorbing the spirit chi from the spirit dragon spring, even if one reached the Sea of Souls realm, they would not stop at the first level. Depending on the amount of spirit chi from the spirit dragon spring, they could break through 1 to 3 small realms. Yi Han saw Tang Ao look at her and then at the spirit dragon fruit. Naturally, she knew that Tang Ao was also thinking about the spirit dragon fruit in front of her. Yi Han knew that Tang Ao was a formidable opponent. She was the only one from her sect who had entered the Underworld Emperor's mystic realm. She would have no one to help her if she was injured in a fight in the mystic realm. However, she was still unwilling to give up on the spirit dragon fruit in front of her. With this spirit dragon fruit, she would be able to reach the Sea of Souls realm. Among the people who entered the Underworld Emperor's secret realm this time, the highest cultivation was only at the peak of Yuan martial realm level 9 because of the restriction of the entrance. Once she reached the Sea of Souls realm first, she would be able to gain an advantage over everyone else. There were countless treasures in the Underworld Emperor's secret realm. After gaining an advantage, she only needed to use it to widen the gap. This trip to the Netherworld Emperor's mystic realm could be said to be half a success. Yi Han believed that Tang Ao was able to cultivate to the peak of the 9th level of the Origin realm at such a young age. Tang Ao could naturally think of these stakes, but she still refused to back down. Even though Tang Ao didn't look weak, Yi Han believed that she wouldn't be useless after so many years of hard work. Thinking of this, Yi Han became even more determined. Her limpid eyes stared fixedly at Tang Ao. As she had no helpers and Tang Ao's 7 Kills sect had sent 5 people in, she wanted to obtain the spirit dragon fruit at the lowest price possible. Then, when Tang Ao gathered everyone from the 7 Kills sect, she would quickly escape. Outside the entrance of the Netherworld Emperor mystic realm, Feng Ye, who had a bountiful harvest, walked back with a face full of smiles. When Deacon Wu saw Feng Ye, he asked worriedly, "Martial Uncle Feng Ye, Martial Nephew hasn't seen the incense you sent to Tang Ao and the others. I wonder if Martial Uncle has passed the summoning incense to them in advance?" After hearing Deacon Wu's words, Feng Ye was stunned. "Aya, this old man was so excited that I actually forgot about this matter. But this is also good. Tang Ao and the others are not weak in the first place. If the 5 of them gather together, they will suppress each other. It will be better for them to train themselves." Chapter 257. Although Tang Ao's strength was not bad, in the Emperor Netherworld's secret realm, everyone could use all sorts of methods. Tang Ao had too many enemies, and it was extremely disadvantageous in the Emperor Netherworld's secret realm. The death rate in the Emperor Netherworld's secret realm was extremely high. If one wasn't careful, it was extremely possible that Tang Ao, the genius disciple who hadn't grown up, would die in the Emperor Netherworld's secret realm. In the Emperor Netherworld's secret realm, Tang Ao met with a problem. Facing the spirit dragon fruit that countless experts at the peak of the Origin realm drooled over, Tang Ao was currently racking his brains to think of a reasonable way to give it to the beauty in front of him, then quickly send her away so that she wouldn't delay him from enjoying the spirit dragon spring. Seeing that Tang Ao was staring at her and not attacking, Yi Han didn't dare to delay any longer. If she delayed any longer, her advantage would be taken by someone else. Since Tang Ao wasn't willing to give up on the spirit dragon fruit, sooner or later, there would be a battle between her and Tang Ao. After thinking it through, Yi Han held her dagger and rushed towards Tang Ao. Tang Ao was stunned in his heart. The beauty was too impatient. He hadn't even thought of a reasonable way to give the spirit dragon fruit to her yet. In the end, she couldn't wait and rushed over. She was forcing him to get both the treasure and the person. Yi Han and he were both experts at the peak of the 9th level of the Origin Realm, and it wasn't a duel in the school. So, Tang Ao didn't dare to be careless. The 100 Battles Spear Spirit was instantly summoned and a blood-stained spear instantly appeared in Tang Ao's hand. 1 inch longer, 1 inch stronger. 1 inch shorter, 1 inch more dangerous. At that moment, the long weapon that represented the spear and the short weapon that represented the dagger were fighting together. At that moment, they were fighting to their heart's content. The 2 daggers in Yi Han's hands were like 2 cunning poisonous snakes as they endlessly stabbed towards the vital points on Tang Ao's body. Every single move was a killing move. On the other hand, the blood spear of 100 Battles in Tang Ao's hand danced in a perfect circle, like a dragon emerging from the sea, causing the surrounding airwaves to tumble. Even the black clothes on Yi Han's body were cut open by the sharp spear chi, revealing his snow-white skin. The more Yi Han fought, the more flustered he became. She had already memorized the names and moves of the top experts of the 6 great clans of the desolate antiquity and the 8 great sects of the black-yellow world. The strongest in the 7 kills sect were Dongswenny and Ouyang Duan. Next were Jing Wui, Nishang Fairy, Luo Tsai, and Fang Xiuan, the eldest of the 3 brothers of the Fang family. However, Tang Ao wasn't among the 5, so why was he so powerful? While Yi Han was amazed, Tang Ao also felt that Yi Han was very good. Not to mention anything else, just his figure was very good. As Tang Ao slashed with his spear, the sharp chi left a big hole on Yi Han's clothes. Half of his snow-white skin was instantly exposed. Yi Han felt a chill on his chest and hurriedly looked down. He saw that Tang Ao's spear had actually cut through his clothes. Yi Han was embarrassed and angry at the same time. She immediately messed up her palm technique. Gotcha! Because Yi Han was momentarily distracted, he didn't adjust his footwork in time and instantly sprained his ankle. After his ankle was injured, Yi Han felt the pain and his body went limp, falling toward Tang Ao. Seeing Yi Han fall, Tang Ao hurriedly withdrew the spear that he had thrust out. He then recalled the spear of 100 Battles back into his body and supported Yi Han with both hands. Chapter 258. Unexpectedly, not only did Tang Ao let down his guard, but he also retracted his life spirit and came to support him out of concern. But then Yi Han's expression changed again. Tang Ao's concern was real, but Tang Ao was anxious. His hand was placed on the soft part of his body, and the dagger that Yi Han had just raised drooped down weakly. On the other hand, Tang Ao didn't know what he was touching, but it was soft and felt good to the touch. But when Tang Ao looked down, he immediately realized that something was wrong. At this moment, Yi Han's body was tilted, and if he let go, Yi Han would fall to the ground. He didn't let go, and the position of his hand was a little awkward. Tang Ao felt a little awkward, but Yi Han was going to kill this lecher who took advantage of her. Yi Han didn't know where she got the strength from, but she suddenly retracted her arms, and then the daggers in her hands stabbed towards Tang Ao. Seeing that Yi Han was about to attack again, Tang Ao hurriedly let go of her. And without Tang Ao's support, Yi Han, whose center of gravity was unstable, used too much strength, and fell to the ground with a bang. The dust on the ground splashed up half a foot high, and it was obvious that the fall was not light. This fall made Yi Han dizzy, and her head was spinning, and stars were flashing in her eyes. "Miss, why do you have to do this? Although something like this happened, you don't have to be so ashamed to see others, and bury your face on the ground. And this fall of yours, it hurts even to me." Hearing Tang Ao's words, Yi Han's anger instantly flared up. But just when Yi Han wanted to stand up, she felt a sharp pain in her foot. Just now, in order to deceive Tang Ao's trust, she deliberately used the trick of spraining her ankle. And with the fall just now, the injury on her ankle was even more serious. But when Yi Han turned around, she finally found something that made her feel happy. That was that she had unknowingly gotten close to the spirit dragon fruit during the fight, and her fall had coincidentally landed next to the spirit dragon fruit. Yi Han looked at Tang Ao in the distance and revealed a proud smile. Then, under Tang Ao's shocked gaze, Yi Han grabbed the spirit dragon fruit at the side. After that, he brought the spirit dragon fruit to his lips and blew away the dust before eating it in a few bites. Looking at the pained expression on Tang Ao's face, Yi Han forced himself to stand up. He then waved at Tang Ao gleefully and left the place in a flash. Tang Ao looked at Yi Han's series of actions just now, and in order to cooperate with Yi Han, he forced himself not to laugh out loud, almost causing him to suffer internal injuries. After watching Yi Han walk far away, Tang Ao summoned his 100 battle spear soul and smashed it into the ground where the spirit dragon fruit grew. Sure enough, there was a clear spring underground. It was the spiritual dragon spring. Tang Ao quickly stripped himself naked and jumped into the spirit dragon spring. The warm spring water instantly rushed into Tang Ao's body, and the entrances that had been preventing Tang Ao from breaking through to the spiritual sea realm were slowly broken. With a series of cracking sounds, Tang Ao's aura became more and more powerful. Not long after, Tang Ao completely broke through to the spiritual sea realm and became a first-level spiritual sea realm martial artist. But there was still a large amount of spring water left in the spirit dragon spring. Therefore, Tang Ao operated the ancient god moving sky technique while refining the spirit chi in the spirit dragon spring. Chapter 259. After breaking through to the third level of the Sea of Souls realm, the spring water in the spirit dragon spring had been completely absorbed by Tang Ao. However, there were still a couple of small holes under the spirit dragon spring, from which the spring water was slowly flowing. Tang Ao knew that this must be the mouth of the spirit dragon spring. If Tang Ao was willing, he could stay here and collect spring water for the entire Netherworld Emperor mystic domain. However, the Underworld Emperor's secret realm only opened once every 10,000 years, and there were countless treasures inside. Tang Ao would naturally not delay his search for the Sea of Stars for such a small profit. Therefore, after carrying a few rocks to cover the spirit dragon spring, Tang Ao continued on his way. In Tang Ao's opinion, the transportation formation to the Underworld Emperor's secret realm was supposed to transport people in pairs. However, Tang Ao was wrong. The teleportation array was completely random. It could teleport a person to any place in the secret land. It could also teleport a group of people to a certain place in the secret land. It was just like how Dongxian Yi and Ouyang Duan were transported to one place alone, while Luo Tsai and Kasahara Snow were transported to the same place with many people. If these people were others, it would be fine. However, among the 7 people here, there were only Luo Tsai and Kasahara Snow. The other 5 were disciples of the Dragon Transformation Pavilion, an enemy sect of the 7 Kills martial school. The Dragon Transformation Pavilion was different from other sections. Because of their special martial arts, the Dragon Transformation Pavilion was made up of only male disciples. These disciples of the Dragon Transformation Pavilion were usually immersed in their cultivation, and they had never even seen a female disciple who looked presentable. Now that they had arrived at the Underworld Emperor's secret realm, they suddenly encountered 2 beauties from the enemy sect, 7 Kills martial school. How could they not be excited? Ha ha ha. Eldest senior brother, it seems like our luck is not bad. We met 2 beauties from the 7 Kills Martial School the moment we arrived. Eldest senior brother, 5th junior brother is right. The 7 Kills Martial School is an enemy sect, so we do not need to be polite with them. That's right, eldest senior brother. There are countless heavenly treasures in the Netherworld Emperor mystic realm. But these 2 beauties of the 7 Kills sect will be gone if you miss them. Yin Lang looked at the 4 junior brothers who had surrounded Luo Tsai and said, Hee hee, the junior brothers have done so much. If I, the eldest senior brother, still don't agree, it would be too unreasonable. Kasahara Yuki and Luo Tsai stood back to back, guarding against Yin Lang's group of 5. Luo Tsai still looked calm, but Kasahara Yuki's body was trembling slightly. Kasahara Yuki didn't know about the other 4, but Yin Lang was infamous. It was said that Yin Lang was the sworn enemy of senior brother Dong Xuanye and senior brother Jing Wui. Senior brother Jing Wui's partner had committed suicide out of humiliation after being molested by Yin Lang during a training expedition. When senior Jing Wui found out about this, he flew into a rage and wanted to kill Yin Lang to take revenge. However, Jing Wui was not a match for Yin Lang and had nearly been killed. After that, senior brother Dong Xuanye of the 7 Kills sect arrived. Dong Xuanye and Yin Lang fought for 300 rounds, but there was still no winner. However, at this moment, not only did she and Luo Tsai have to face Yin Lang, but they also had to face the 4 people around them who were not any weaker than them. Although they had not made a move yet, Kasahara Yuki was already in despair. Chapter 260. Luo Tsai, who was leaning against Kasahara Yuki, knew that she was a little scared. She immediately said to her, Junior sister Yuki, don't be afraid. Since this is not a friendly fight, we don't have to hold back. If we go all out, the outcome is uncertain. Luo Tsai's voice was not loud, but Yin Lang and the others heard her clearly. After hearing Luo Tsai's words, one of them said mockingly, The outcome is uncertain? Do you think you are Dong Xuanye and Ouyang Duan? You want to fight 2 against 5? With senior brother Yin Lang here, you'd better surrender. Zhao Xianshao looked at Luo Tsai and Kasahara Yuki's delicate faces and graceful figures, and the evil fire in his heart could no longer be suppressed. If not for the fact that his seniors and juniors were here, he would have used the dragonization skill to capture Luo Tsai and Kasahara Yuki and take them to a secluded place to enjoy themselves. Seeing the evil light in Zhao Xuanxiao's eyes, Kasahara Yuki could not help but take a step back and bump into Luo Tsai's back. After a long time, Kasahara Yuki took a deep breath and said, Senior sister Tsai, I don't want my body to be sullied by these people. I'll cover you to escape later. After you leave, I'll self-destruct my life soul. What nonsense are you talking about? We're just dealing with a few small fries from the Dragon Transformation Pavilion. Although Luo Tsai knew that the people in front of her were strong opponents, she had learned bad things after following Tang Ao for so long. She began to mock the 5 people from the Dragon Transformation Pavilion. Anger always made people lose their cool. Facing an expert like Yin Lang, if she did not use some tricks, she and Kasahara Yuki had no chance of winning. Small fries? Alright, I'll show you how powerful small fries are today. As Yin Lang spoke, his aura suddenly surged and a powerful spiritual pressure pressed down on Luo Tsai and Kasahara Yuki. However, a shocking scene appeared. After Yin Lang's spiritual pressure pressed down on Luo Tsai and Kasahara Yuki, their images turned into golden butterflies that filled the sky. This was the 21st level life soul that Luo Tsai had awakened, the golden butterfly life soul. After awakening the jade bone vitality life soul, Tang Ao learned another magical use of it. When others entered the boundless world to comprehend their life spirits, Tang Ao could use the Jade Bone Life Spirit to nourish their divine soul and physical body. He could use this to strengthen his opponent's soul when he entered the boundless world, allowing him to break through his own shackles and advance to a higher level of his life soul. Under Tang Ao's methods, Luo Tsai successfully awakened the 21st Firmament Life Soul, Golden Mirage Butterfly. After images? Yin Lang muttered to himself as he watched Luo Tsai and Kasahara Yuki transform into a sky full of golden butterflies. No, it's not an afterimage. It must be an illusion. Looking at his surroundings, Yin Lang discovered that he had arrived in a special space. Although Yin Lang knew that he was still in the underworld Emperor mystic realm, he hadn't even taken a single step. But at this moment, he had fallen into Luo Tsai's illusion. Feeling the illusory space around him, Yin Lang was secretly shocked. He had awakened the 21st Firmament Withered Zen Lotus Platform Life Soul and could enter the state of heart like still water and spirit unite at will. However, he had fallen into Luo Tsai's illusion. This meant that the life soul that Luo Tsai used to cast the illusion was also a powerful 21st Firmament life soul. Chapter 261. This time, Luo Tsai did not trap him alone. His 4 junior brothers were not to be trifled with. Once they came back to their senses, they would definitely find a way to break Luo Tsai's illusion. Yin Lang also believed that they had the ability to do so. As for the reason why he did not act himself, it was naturally because he wanted to leave behind enough experience to deal with Dong Xianyi. On the other side of the Netherworld Emperor's mystic realm, 7 streaks of black light slowly flew back to Dongxuanyi's side. Dong Xianyi had been transported to this space alone. After teleporting here, Dong Xuanya found a room hidden in a secret array formation. Dong Xuanya broke the formation and found many good things in the room. However, as soon as Dongxuanyi broke the formation, the auras of all sorts of natural treasures in the room quickly leaked out. In an instant, more than 30 people were attracted and they surrounded Dong Xianyi. There were more than 2,000 disciples from various sects and factions that had entered the Netherworld Emperor's mystic realm. Hence, it wasn't considered a lot for more than 30 people to appear here. If it was just these 30 people, Dongxuanyi naturally wouldn't care about them. However, Dong Xianyi saw Ouyang Duan, who had always viewed him as a mortal enemy, in the crowd. After a series of battles, these 30 greedy people all lost their lives to the 7 slaughtered divine Tao. At this time, Dong Xianyi was in real danger. Ouyang Duan's corpse jail dragon life spirit had already appeared, surrounding him and Ouyang Duan. The 4 array flags that Ouyang Duan had thrown out formed a barrier around him and Ouyang Duan. After seeing the situation clearly, Dongxuanyi knew that it would be very difficult for him to leave this place today. However, he couldn't be bothered to waste his breath on Ouyang Duan. Despite the fact that he had expended quite a bit of his energy, the 21 profound night beads instantly hovered around Dongxuanyi. Since he was able to defeat Ouyang Duan in the arena of the Dragon and Phoenix rankings, he would naturally be able to do the same here. Ouyang Duan was in an extremely good mood right now. In fact, he was in an extremely good mood. He had not expected that he would be able to remove the thorn in Dongxuanyi's heart so quickly after entering the Netherworld Emperor mystic realm. If Dong Xuanya was at his peak condition, Ouyang Duan would admit that he would not be a match for Dong Xuanya. However, Dong Xuanya had already exhausted a lot of his energy after fighting against over 30 experts. Although he wasn't Dongxuanyi's match in the past, he wasn't much weaker than him. Right now, Dongxuanyi was exhausted, but he was at ease waiting for him to exhaust himself. In an instant, it was clear who was superior. If he could not kill Dong Xianyi this time, there was no need for him to continue living. After summoning the corpse cage dragon, he quickly held the soul-experiencing saber in his hand. Even if Donkswini wasn't at his peak condition, he would still give it his all. But at this moment, Ouyang Duan was still feeling a little dissatisfied and doubtful. Under such circumstances, he could not see a trace of fear on Dong Xianye's face. At this moment, Dong Xianye's expression was extremely calm. It was as if he wasn't facing a person who was extremely likely to take his life, but an ordinary and harmless object like a blade of grass or a rock. Don't try to act mysterious. Today, only one of us will be able to walk out of here. Ouyang Duan tightened his grip on the spirit-experiencing saber. He did not know why, but at this moment there was a faint sense of fear in his heart. You really have a lot to say. After Dong Xianyi finished speaking, 7 beams of light instantly appeared, surrounding Ouyang Duan. After that, Donkswini flew into the air and used the profound night pearl to trap the skeleton cage dragon. Black rays of light quickly pierced through the corpse cage dragon. After being pierced by the black rays, the corpse cage dragon quickly stopped struggling. Dark Moon Heaven Burial. After that, Donkswini roared angrily. 22 profound night pearls instantly erupted with a terrifying power. Under this terrifying power, the corpse caged dragon's life spirit instantly shattered inch by inch. In the end, it turned into wisps of black smoke and completely disappeared from the world. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.